Hello, everybody. Welcome to Showtime, the new One Piece collab stream I've been doing on the channel where I bring on special guests and we do a question and answer back and forth. I'm here today with none other than my friend, Edenz Blue. Edenz, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, bro. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited for this. One of probably the first One Piece discussion I've had, in terms of on a stream. Probably since that time we did Par's top 30 stream.
Yeah.
So it's been a while.
Yeah, man, it has been a while.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, we got acquainted back at AnimeNYC and we were talking back then about putting something together, doing a collab stream, talking theories. Tell people, because I'm sure that a bunch of my viewers may not have been familiar with your channel yet, so tell people a little bit about yourself, the type of content you make. I know that you haven't made some stuff recently, but in general, what's your channel about? What any videos you want to plug, anything like that? Introduce yourself with that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I came up originally doing One Piece content because when I got into the series, I came across other YouTubers like Brago, Morge, you for example, and I think this was maybe about a year or two before I think Dak started making videos, and I was just kind of yeah, so I kind of like this stuff. I like talking about One Piece, so I maybe let me give this a try. When I was doing it, and I haven't done really anything for a while. I still talk about One Piece,
sure,
with people outside of YouTube and just not content related. I think because I don't know, I got to a real burnout point during Wano.
Yeah,
because I don't know, for a while it just felt like there wasn't too much to talk about on a chapter by chapter basis, and during that time, theories prior to Gear 5th happening, it felt like it got to a point where I would hear the same theories oh, what's happening to Boa, what's going on with Sabo, the Reverie, Vivi, what's happening with Vivi, and the kind of ideas just kind of started running out for a bit.
Yeah.
At least in terms of a discussion thing. But recently, I was telling you before we started, I feel like I'm getting a balance now between my real life with my job and stuff, so I can get back to making content again and finding the time to dedicate to that. So in terms of the Edenz Blue channel, I want to get back and do something One Piece related, since that's where I started with it, and even anime in general, whether that be I don't know, streams or discussions and stuff like that, because I found out that during that time I was away from making content, the thing I enjoyed the most, that really got me into One Piece, was just having discussions with it to people, instead of sitting here with my own thoughts, oh yeah, this would be a cool idea, I'm I usually have more fun whenever I'm just talking to friends and I'm just bouncing ideas off of them, and that's one of the best parts about One Piece, is just coming up with the stuff that might sound wacky, and it just the core of it is just you're having a fun time. So that's what I'm looking to do with back with the Edenz Blue channel, and there's another channel I recently made that I'm about to start making some content for there.
Oh, word.
I don't, I'm gonna roll with the name for now, but I called it Toon Plug Edenz.
Nice.
Where I want to talk about my favorite episodes from Western animation stuff.
Cool.
Nostalgia cartoons like Kids Next Door, Ed, Edd n Eddy, Avatar, stuff like that, right? So
classics.
Yeah, the classics, exactly.
The classics.
And even some of the the newer stuff coming out, X-Men 97. That's the big thing everyone's talking about. Invincible and all that stuff.
Dope.
And yeah, so I'm working on that for that. To because I'm just a big animation fan in general. I love talking about anything animation. And aside from that, the last thing I want to say is me and my homie Kev, a mutual friend of ours,
Kev Dog.
Yep. Yeah, Kev Dog. Yeah. So we're we've been in talks of doing a little collab channel.
Dope.
I think the name we're rolling with right now is Fiction Addiction.
Oh, that would be sick, bro.
Yeah. So we're just it's gonna be us just talking about our favorite things from anime to Western stuff, and just whether it be a random episode or just we've even had made conversations where yo, at one point we're gonna make a channel where me and you are just debating. I've told him I'm gonna just one day we're gonna be having this discussion about I don't know Adventure Time or something like that, or One Piece, and then out of nowhere I'm just gonna like randomly go, why do you hate Naruto? Why do you refuse to read Naruto?
Is that true? Does he refuse to read Naruto?
Yes, he does.
I didn't know that. we gotta have a talk about that, Kev. I'm gonna have to ask you about that. I'm actually curious now. But that's really cool, man. I felt that you know, like the discussion, like, you know how you feel like you enjoy the discussions a lot. Like when we were talking back in AnimeNYC, like that was like one of the things that I remembered. That's why I wanted to make the collab happen, because I felt like our discussions were great. I was throwing that was the time. At that time I was working on the Lafitte theory, so I was hitting everyone with that, and I remember talking to you about that.
I remember that.
Yeah, I was super drunk.
That.
I was super drunk, but I was like, "Yo, let me tell you about this theory." And I pulled up the panel. I was like, "Look at this guy. Who's that look like? Who's that look like?
Yeah.
That's Lafitte." And yeah, yeah. That.
Dude, when you were telling me that, I was sitting, I was like, maybe it's because I don't know if it's because I was drinking too, but I was sitting there thinking to myself like, I never thought about this.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, there's something here.
Yeah, you were hyping it up. That's why I appreciated that. Yeah. So, but yeah, man, I think I see that definitely in what you do, and I'm definitely looking forward to where you go with your channel and Fiction Addiction. First off, I love the name. I think that, yeah, Kev would be great to collab with on that, because he does a bunch of videos on that. I would definitely be interested in seeing that, because for me, like, I grew up with those cartoons too, you know. I watched a lot of Avatar. I watched Ed, Edd n Eddy. I love Ed, Edd n Eddy. Like, you know, I could talk about that for a while. So
you clearly see the back of the
yeah.
wall.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, actually, so let me I saw Dak in chat. He said, where's Plank? So it's cut off because of the way I have the cam set up, but let me pull. Yeah, there it is. So you can see Plank there, Dak. So the story behind Plank here, we were at the convention, and actually, you want to tell the story, Edenz? Go ahead. This is your story.
Okay. So so we were like walking around the convention during AnimeNYC, and me, like, when it comes to conventions, like, the place you'll probably catch me if you can't find me is probably like Artist Alley, right? So at that point, I like half of the posters behind me I got from AnimeNYC, and then out of nowhere, and I'm in my head, I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I think I've got enough. I'm good. And then out of nowhere, Dak shows up with like this similar. Actually, give me a second. Let me grab it.
Sure.
So out of nowhere, Dak shows up with like one of these planks from Ed, Edd n Eddy, and then my first reaction is like, dog, where did you get that? Like, I've only seen like anime stuff all there. Like, this is like the first like Western cartoon thing I saw. Like, probably the only thing I saw at the whole convention. And then I'm just like, Dak, where did you get this? I need to know now. And he said, yeah, I got it from this guy over here. And Dak shows me the guy, and he's like, oh yeah, I can make one for you. It'll take like 30, 45 minutes. I was like, please don't sell it. Make it. I will be here in 30 minutes to buy it. And like, he just went and painted it up 30 minutes later, and
it looks so good.
Me and Dak were the only two. Yeah, dude, it looks like the legit character.
That's
right?
legit. Yeah, that's authentic. That's actually Plank. Yeah, that's sick. I remember that. I clearly, that was like one of the big memory things I have from that, because I don't remember much by the end of the day, but like, you know, because we were like at the bar and stuff after that, but like prior to that, I remember the Plank thing. I remember that. I was happy to see that on your wall. That took me back. Did you get any other? Tell me about some of the other art you got on. I see some Kingdom Hearts in the back there too. I love Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah. Where was the Kingdom Hearts? I got so. Oh yeah. So like right there.
You got the lamp.
It was a. Oh yeah. So the lamp I got off Amazon, but like right above it, it's like this Kingdom Hearts art where it's you know, the Destiny Island trio, Sora, Riku, and Kairi.
Yeah.
It's like them and all their versions from Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and 3. And so like I saw it, and I was like, dude, look, here's how bad it got, right? It got so bad to where Dak had to pull me out of Artist Alley. Dak was like, nah, bro, you spent enough. We gotta go. You spent enough. So Dak had to pull me out of Artist Alley to get me to stop. Because every time I saw something, I was like, oh man, that's fire. I might not come across this ever again. Do I want it? I'm like, yes.
I feel that.
Like, dude, yeah. Now, and it's like, aside from that, it's like I got some cool stuff like Miles Morales. Have you ever seen the Spider-Verse movie?
Yeah.
The second one with the other Miles at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a little counterpart poster where two separate ones with like them facing each other. It was that I got like this one like right here. It's like some Adventure Time metallic frame I got from there.
Is that a free
Right
run?
here in the middle.
Is that a free run one?
Oh yeah.
I see
right
that.
there.
Nice, bro.
Yep, I got the free run art. And I think that was like right when the season 1 was getting started too. So I had to get that.
Dope.
Rukia from Bleach, Nami from Film Red. There was another one I had. It's just not up right now. It was like this holographic Pokemon card with like the final evolution of all the starters.
Sick.
But dude,
yeah,
it was
that was. I also remember that from that day. They had the hollow cards. That was sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's been way too much money, and it's gonna be horrible next AnimeNYC. I already know.
Bro, if I ever become like, if I ever get like, fuck you money, and I go to AnimeNYC again, I'm buying out like half of the Artist Alley like stuff. Like there was so much stuff there I wanted to get, but I was like, man, first off, I didn't want to carry all of it. It was all like, because it's a lot of these pieces were really like, some of them were big, especially like the figures and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And also like some of them were really expensive. There was this one figure I saw that I really wanted, and it was Luffy, Gear 4, doing like, like a King Kong gun that like it lit up.
Yeah,
that shit was
that
crazy.
It was like a wall. It goes on the wall.
It goes
right?
on the wall. You hang it on the wall, and it's Luffy doing the King Kong gun on the wall, and it lights up. That shit was insane.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
dude,
that was like $1,000. That was like it was like $2,000 or something like that. Yeah,
Cole had the craziest purchase.
Yeah,
you remember what that was?
Yeah.
King of Light
was
the
it
craziest purchase?
Was that the Blackbeard one? Was it the crocodile one? I'm trying to remember actually.
It was like this cool figure with like Luffy and Ace and Impel down.
Oh,
it was, like,
right.
Really, it was like really like gigantic.
I remember.
And yeah, I think the guy even said he was gonna like just bring it to his house because he like lived there.
Dope.
Like,
that's so baller. That's so crazy, bro. I wish I could do that. I would just like, I'm telling you, half those figures would be gone. They would be sold out.
Oh, dude. I'm saving up for the next trip. I'm saving up.
yeah, for sure. We're definitely running it back this year because they're doing it in the summer this time. So, which is gonna be nice. It's actually cosplay weather. You can't really cosplay in the like the winter. It's like too cold for that.
Yeah.
I was freezing.
Oh
yeah. I was freezing my balls off. Let me while we're on the topic, let's talk a little bit about One Piece. So first off, I need to ask you. This is a wellness check. Okay, how are you doing? As of the end of break month, how have you been holding up since we've been without a chapter for like I don't know, like a year now? I've lost track of time.
Dude, honestly, all right. So I've been good. I've been surviving luckily because I've been just like keeping myself busy with like other series or like manga and stuff like that. And then every time like somebody talks to me about One Piece, I legit every time somebody brings up One Piece or like the manga, what's currently going on, like in my head, the first thought is like, yo, like, did I miss a chapter? When was the last time we got a chapter? I'm like, and then like, I promise you, like, every week that went by, in my head, I'm like, all right, cool, chapter next week. The month break is almost over, and then every week it felt like I kept hearing people say, "Oh yeah, we still got like 2 weeks to go. We still got like 2 weeks to go." Like last week, I heard somebody say, "Don't we still got 2 weeks to go?" I'm like, "Dog, no way. There's no way."
Bro, people don't know anymore because I put up a post. I was like, "It's the end of break month. We're finally here," and people were like, "Don't we got another 2 weeks?" And I'm like, "No, it's over. It's over. It's like we're getting a chapter in maybe like 2 days." So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
it's funny you say that. Obviously I'm not gonna talk about it, but like once I started seeing the spoiler accounts making the tweets, I was like, all right, we're back. We're back in business.
It's actually like a sign. It's actually a good thing to see. Like for once, it's like, okay, wait, there's a chapter coming. Okay, there's actual spoilers out. Yeah, but no, I mean this is rough. It's not like it's the first time though. I mean Oda does this like once a year. He has like a 3 or 4 week break, something like that. And if I'm not mistaken, every time he comes back from those breaks, he drops like some crazy shit in the story. Like he drops a crazy ass bomb on the plot, So I'm ready for like whatever comes out this week is gonna, we're gonna have stuff to talk about that made the 3 weeks worth it. I'm at least hoping. But like, tell me a little bit about, what your thoughts are on that. What do you think we're getting when we come back? Any hopes, even hopes. Doesn't have to be like actual founded theory with like information. Just like what do you hope to see, in the next chapter or two?
My biggest hope right now is to see if the giant robot finally makes it to the battlefield, because we ended the last chapter with it finally like getting up and starting to move again. So because maybe since I want to say since like maybe like that first chapter when we got the confirmation that Saturn can like regenerate and apparently isn't really feeling the damage. Um, like the first thought that came to my head was, okay, I remember Vegapunk said that, or at least Shaka said that like he couldn't replicate the material that robot was made from, and or it couldn't replicate the power source, something like that. And so the first thought to my head was, okay, these guys keep healing even when Gear 5 Luffy keeps like dealing damage to them. So the first thought that came to my head was, okay, this robot is made of something that can actually harm the Gorosei, to where like when they take damage, they're like, oh wait, it's not healing, and because
the power
so
source, right?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah, the power source, or like the material, whatever it is. So when I was going through Egghead a couple of days ago to refresh my memory, because
Sure.
dude, I forgot how much this arc was giving us. Like,
Yeah,
I really did.
It's crazy.
So I remember when reading it, it was talking about how the robot, like 200 years ago, it was climbing up to Marijua, and then all of a sudden, I guess it shut down, and they got rid of it. And now knowing what we know about the Gorosei, like in my head, I'm like, okay, it was going to Marijua because that's the Holy Land and all that. That's where the main bad guys are. But now it feels like even more concrete that it was specifically going maybe like for Emu or for the Gorosei themselves, because maybe like it knows like what they are, and it knows it can deal damage to them. Because I know Vegapunk was saying like they told the scientists to like completely get rid of it, and not just because that's a link to the Void Century, but hey, what if it can also hurt them, and they know that, and it's like anything that can harm us, get it out of here.
I mean, it's talking now, right? Like it's like saying, "I'm sorry, Joy Boy." So it's like, okay, this thing might have a mind of its own to a degree, right? So if that's the case, then it might know something from the Void Century that it's kind of like a Zunisha situation, right?
Yeah. So I call it like a crack theory, when I'm like, all right, maybe I'm going too far with this. There's no evidence to really support this, but I was kind of wondering, okay, what if Toki is somehow connected to this robot, because you know how she had the power where like she can jump to the future, and all the signs point to, I think she even confirmed it, that she's from the Void Century. So they said the robot showed up 200 years ago, and the Void Century was like 900 years ago. So like that's a large window of time, and they said the robot just kind of came out of nowhere, and just kind of like, so nobody saw this thing coming. Nobody saw it coming up the red line back then, and it just kind of popped up. Like they said, it came out of nowhere. And when I looked at the panel, when they showed it at Marijua, it looked like it was already battle damaged. Like it looked like it was already missing a horn, like it already been through a fight.
Yeah.
So maybe like the little random thought I had in my head was, okay, what if it came from the point in the Void Century when it was like pretty much like confirmed that from the ancient kingdom's point of view, like, all right, we lost this fight, Joy Boy is probably gone, we lost this, the world government won, and maybe they had like Toki, who had the time fruit that can push you to the future. They had her like send it into the future to maybe like, I don't know, to do like a surprise attack or something, like one last effort to put down the Gorosei in the world government. And then it ran out of power, and when it wakes up now, it said, I'm sorry, Joy Boy, so it knows it failed.
So do you think so you're saying basically they sent Toki to the future, like it wasn't just like she just ran away and used the power to jump to the future, like there was a meaning behind it, there was a purpose behind it.
I think there was a meaning behind it. I think there was a meaning behind it because again, I kind of look at Toki in the same way, where it's like, all right, she used this because maybe whatever they were doing back then, they knew they lost. And during like the Odin flashback, there's when Odin is talking about the Void Century, whether she gets really upset about it and tells him like, yo, shut up, like don't tell me nothing. And because like when I went back and looked at Wano, like Toki knew what she was doing. Like she knew she like knew these connections the whole time. When Odin's about to talk about it, she says, yo, don't say nothing, I don't want to hear it. And was even okay with dying when she did during Wano, but and did the whole 20-year prophecy to take down Kaido and all that. But like, she kind of like played it like she knew at some point like Joy Boy would be coming back, and she knew specifically when, which was kind of like weird to me.
It's an interesting question. You like, do you think she wanted to meet Joy Boy? Like, do you think she was coming to the future to meet Luffy, potentially? Like, or like to, like because she, if I'm not misremembering it, I'm pretty sure she said she jumped to the future, and then she said something about like, oh, maybe I jumped, like I didn't jump far enough or something. I'm not sure if I'm misremembering that, or like she wanted to jump again. Like she was just kind of like leaping into the future almost randomly, or like semi-randomly, but like she was only off the mark by 20 years, like that's a pretty small amount of time. So I'm wondering if like maybe part of her goal was to meet, Joy Boy when he comes back. But that's an interesting perspective on it, because I never really thought about, Toki beyond the Wano arc. I kind of just accepted it as like, okay, like she did her thing.
That's what I believe. That's what I believe.
Sure.
Because I think many One Piece fans are in the same boat that at some point we're gonna get an actual Void Century flashback. And with the way Oda does flashbacks, he likes to throw a character in from like this whole other place that we would never expect to be in the flashback. Like I can't think of one off the top of my head right now, but like he likes for instance, right, during the Odin flashback, right, when they were traveling around the world with Roger, he kind of just threw Frankie in there as a kid and just gave us that little fun fact that Frankie met Odin and the Pirate King and didn't really know it.
He didn't know. He didn't realize. It's like, who are these guys?
Yeah, exactly. So like I can kind of see him doing that with the Void Century thing now that he's given us all of these things like Toki, the robot. And so whenever we get to that point in the story, we're gonna see like these familiar things. Where he just kind of like throws this in it, like, hey, remember this character? Hey, remember that character? And then he's gonna come full circle and show like how they got to where they did.
I mean, Toki's gonna be in the Void Century. Yeah, like the Void Century flashback, she has to be in there, right? Like I feel like if we get if we leap back 800 years ago, 900 years ago, we're gonna see Toki in that flashback at some point, right? So. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So and that's interesting. I never thought about that. Like I said, like that's that is, we don't know many characters from that long ago. She's one of them. So like if anything, she has to be reintroduced in some way. But yeah, that's cool. I mean, the Iron Giant is definitely, the next chapter is probably going to be all about the Iron Giant, if I had to guess. But what I'm wondering is what he's going to say, what he's sorry for, like I'm wondering what could he be sorry for? That's the thing that's got me right now, because the last time we heard an apology from the Void Century, it was coming from Joy Boy, and Joy Boy was apologizing to Poseidon. So everyone's sorry to each other. I'm just wondering, like, what the fuck happened, bro?
Dude, it's because with all of these apologies, it has me thinking Oda. Because like I'm thinking right now, like, bro, Oda, there's no way you're gonna top the Kuma flashback. Like in terms of like how sad that was. Like that, it's a toss up between that and like Robin and other characters. It's like, man, Oda, you can't make this sadder. And now I'm seeing like all these people saying I'm sorry and all that. I'm like, bro, how bad was this?
Yeah.
How bad was this?
It's got to be the most tragic thing in the story. I feel like if it isn't, then I mean, I don't know. That's rough in terms of a storytelling like thing, right? Because if it's not the saddest, most tragic flashback in the story when we learn about what really happened, then I'm just gonna, everyone's gonna get to the end of the flashback and like see what happened to Joy Boy, and they'll just be like, yeah, Kuma had it harder though. Oda can't let that happen. He can't let that happen. It has to be like, okay, Joy Boy got really, really fucked over. Like there's no, other way to paint this. And I'm hoping we get a very long, drawn out flashback where we get attached to all the characters, and it almost feels like its own contained story before it ends in tragedy. And then it's like after, let's say 20 to even 30 chapters of Void Century, we cut back to the present and it all comes together and we're like, oh, okay. Like that's what happened. So maybe we get that sooner than we think. I don't know,
Yeah, no, I would agree, because it's like, you got to kind of think about like all the ground he would have to cover, right? That he's kind of been setting up throughout the story. Like, and I'm not saying he has to like expand into every little detail about it, but it's stuff I would expect to see, like Zunisha, like this punishment that Zunisha has placed upon them. Like, what's up with that?
Yeah.
We know Wano is going to be some way connected. Like, is it going to be Wano as we know it, or is it going to be Wano before like it became like 6 different islands?
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, it will be, because we saw old Wano. We saw
For
it.
sure.
It was at the bottom of the volcano. Yeah. So, you know, Elbaf potentially is going to be some way tied to this. You know, and there's so many locations that we're going to just find out, like, we might get the origin story of these places. So I'm excited to see. Also, you know, another big thing, we're going to see potentially how all the poneglyphs got thrown around. We might get Skypiea back involved in all this.
I hope
there's
so.
Some connection.
I hope so. I would love for Skypiea to come back in some way. Yeah, I mean, now that we're talking about other locations, before I get to that, actually, real quick. So we got a member's message from Vid. He said, yo, member for 12 months. Yo, what's up, Vid? This is actually a good time to bring up. Don't mean to break the flow of the conversation, but I totally forgot at the beginning. So one of the ways the stream works is we're going to also accept questions and things to talk about from the chat. And also, you know, because like with a lot of these like collab interview style streams, you know, the host is usually like hitting you with questions, and it's like a question and answer from me to you. But what I wanted to also open up to is, you know, if you want to ask me something, feel free to go right ahead. You know, it's not just you know, it's not just my conversation here, it's yours too. So, you know, if you have anything you want to say or ask, go for it, man. I'm open book. Same with the chat. If you guys want to ask us something, feel free to hit us with questions. You know, whatever, anything like that, totally cool. But yeah, since we're mentioning it, other islands, you know, like history of other islands, things that we might learn about, you know, islands we've been to in the past. What do you think because we're at the end of Egghead now. So what do you think is next, and what are the remaining islands we have left to go to in the story? Or at least what are the ones you'd want to see us go to, even if it's not likely? You know, what would you want to see like a full arc set in, you know, aside from you know, Elbaf or Elbaf can count too if you want to talk about Elbaf, but
Okay, I'm glad. I'm so happy you asked me this, because like
sure,
I've been like just on the edge of my seat, ready for this part.
Yeah, hit me.
So you know, I think it's very clear. Hopefully Oda isn't trying to like pull a fast one on the fandom with Elbaf. So like I think Elbaf is next. But so I was actually talking to Kev about this the other night, and I was saying, you know, when we were in Wano, you know, obviously nobody was expecting Egghead. We were all thinking like either Elbaf, maybe Sphinx Island, something like that. So there's 2 locations in my head right now that I would love for us to see, or at least like I'm curious if Oda will actually tackle it. And the first one is Vera, and the second one is Loadstar or Roadstar, whichever the translation is. So Vera, this one's real quick. Like my headcanon on it right now is just, yo, that might finally be where we get the Luffy and Dragon meeting, like the first time they finally meet, because I remember it might have been like 2 years ago when Oda was doing like a month break for the build up of Film Red, and he was like I think one of those weeks it was like a 4 billion data book or something.
Yeah, like the
that.
Road to Laugh Tale volume 4 billion, that period.
Yeah. So at one point during those weeks, I think he was teasing something about like potentially the final road Poneglyph location, and he was like, "Oh, is it Elbaf? Is it Blackbeard's Island, or is it Vera?"
No one heard of Vera.
Yeah. So when he said Vera, I'm like, what the hell is Vera?
Yeah.
And then, you know, it wasn't until a while later where I was rereading the story, and you know, Vera, that's mentioned all the way back in chapter like 95. With like the first chapter of the Logtown arc, where Nami's reading the paper and she's going, oh, it looks like there was a coup d'etat in Vera. You know, that's before we learn of the revolutionary, but it's the arc Dragon was introduced in. And, you know, we don't know where it is. You know, just looking at it back then, you would think it's in the East Blue, but knowing Oda, he could just spin that into being like, oh, it's in the New World actually. So it's only because it's a named island, and I'm like, all right, they're not going all the way to Evankhos Island when the dragon meeting happens. I don't believe that's happening. So I'm like, okay, but when and where is it going to take place? Like, it could be Elbaf. I'm having my doubts only because I feel like there's so much Elbaf is already going to tackle that we know, and who knows what else Oda is going to throw into it. So I'm like, okay, if it's going to be a revolutionary territory, I could see it maybe being Vera if Oda wants to like actually incorporate that back into the story. We'll get Sabo back in the mix. And then that'll probably be the point where Dragon is actually ready to initiate this big attack and war that he wants to do on the world government. There was something else that was like, I think it's gonna happen soon because when I was rereading Egghead, Bonney, when she ran into Luffy, in her mind, like she quickly thinks to herself, "Oh yeah," she says something like, "Oh yeah, I should tell him that I met Sabo in Marijua." I'll wait to tell him later.
I'll tell him later.
You never hear nothing about that again.
Uh-huh.
Never hear about that again. So it's like, okay, where are we gonna go with that?
Right. They might leave the island together, so that's going to be like the prime time to talk about that. And it's funny. Exactly. Yeah, I looked it up actually while you were mentioning it. Yeah, so Vera looks like it's in the Grand Line, according to the wiki. So if it's in the Grand Line, that means it could be on their path. We have no clue. But that's a possibility. It's funny too because it's like you said, like Oda brought it up. No one knew what Vera was. It's like of all the locations, was it like that he just had no other locations to pick from? He's like, where else could it be? Loadstar, Elbaf.
Yeah, right.
What other islands are left? Shit, I don't know. Vera. Like he just like why would you throw that in there? And like unless there was something, about that location you're gonna talk about at some point, right? Because otherwise,
exactly.
It might as well be the, what was the kingdom that Noland was from? Livneal? Yeah, I think it was like the Livneal kingdom or something. I'm like, like if you put that in there, it's like, what are we supposed to make of that? So I'm with you. Yeah, it's like, bro.
It's like you're like giving me breadcrumbs right now. Like it's not even a trail. You just dropped all the breadcrumbs in one spot, and it's like I got to figure out what to do with it now.
Yeah, it's like, oh, how about are they gonna go to North Dakota next? Like, bro, who the fuck? Like, yeah, like okay.
So that's like where my head is at with Vera at least, and like. The thing my brain has been racking around for years has been Loadstar, because I've seen some fan discussion where people go, "Oh, we don't have to go to Loadstar. There's no point in going there." And it's like, well, we don't really know that. Like, yeah, we know that's the last island of the Grand Line, but I don't think Oda would bring that up and make that be so important and just have us be like, yeah, there's no point in going there, because when you go to that island. That's, or at least from what I can remember from the Odin flashback, Roger said that it wasn't until they went to that island and he kind of like found out that no, there's one more out there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, something really important has to be at Loadstar. There's no way it's just this barren wasteland of an island. Like something important has to be there. I'm not saying it has to be like a civilization or anything like that, but like I think something important is there, and I think it's interesting that Oda made it the last island on the Grand Line, kind of like the end of the road. And so where my kind of like head is at with it right now is I'm kind of, and people might hate this because I know how much we think like this is going to be an Elbaf thing, but right now where like what I'm feeling, I think Loadstar is when we'll finally get the Luffy and Shanks encounter.
Oh, okay. Okay, interesting. Last island on the Grand Line, that kind of makes sense too. Like thematically, I could see that.
Exactly. So like, cause like Shanks being at Elbaf, I don't know. It feels too easy. It feels too easy. I'm like, Oda, you're not gonna get me. You're not gonna hype me up for Shanks being at Elbaf when Luffy shows up and Shanks is not, and Shanks is there waiting. Like, you're not gonna get me. I'm not falling for it. He's gonna he's gonna make it important for Robin, for Usopp, because they got stuff important tied to Elbaf. I have this one idea about Elbaf that I'll jump to in a minute, but I'm like, no way you're gonna give us Shanks at Elbaf. It's too easy. It's too easy. You're not fooling me. Oda.
I like that. Actually, that's it. Yeah. No, it's kind of true because like we already know that's his territory. It'd be weird if we knew like 50 chapters in advance. Okay, Shanks is there. We're gonna go there next, and then we're gonna meet Shanks. Like we know it's coming. I feel like that's a little bit anticlimactic for meeting Shanks again, right? Like you're right. You're a little You're swaying me a little bit on this, actually.
I think it's also Oda has fun like blue balling the fans because Shanks literally pulled up to Wano. He was right there by Luffy, and it's like, oh well, we can't see Luffy yet because Bartolomeo, yeah, we got to go deal with that. We got to go deal with Bartolomeo. You're telling me, you're Oda. You're telling me the excuse why we can't get Shanks and Luffy right now is because Bartolomeo is the problem. I'm like, all right, Oda, all right, Oda. So when Shanks happened on Elbaf, I'm like, there's no way with all this going on right now, he pulls up and Shanks is there waiting. Shanks is gonna next time we see Shanks, it's gonna be something. He like, oh, I had to go do something else. I had to go talk to this other really important character. Yeah, it's not time yet, Luffy. Yeah, you're a Yonko. It's not time yet. But I'm like, oh, Oda, you're not getting me. I waited too long for you to just be like, oh my god, this is the arc. This is the arc. It's finally no. So I've convinced myself it's Loadstar because, like thematically, it's the end of the Grand Line. It's like, yo, it's the end of the road. Luffy told Shanks in chapter like 1, like, yo, I'm gonna have a crew better than yours. So I think it will be like very like beautiful for Oda to do it where like he's finally at like at least like in a literal sense the end of the trail. We know like Lavtail is the technically the final island, but it would be kind of be like cool if it was like physically like the end of the trail, the end of the Grand Line, where Shanks kind of like, you know, we finally had that Shanks and Luffy encounter where Luffy has to like get through that final not final gate, but like one of the final like obstacles for Shanks to himself to be convinced that, okay, you're ready for this, you're ready for Lavtail, you're ready for whatever like Roger has waiting for you, because Shanks is kind of, I feel like, been like the gatekeeper of it,
of course, yeah.
And also like, you know, with it being Lavtail, with it being Loadstar, you know, there's potential for ancient civilization stuff being there, because again, like, you know, that's when Roger got the idea of the road poneglyphs and all that, from what I can remember. Maybe I'm getting stuff mixed up.
Yeah,
but like I feel like something is there. That's just me. I feel like something is there. It's not just this barren wasteland that we're just gonna skip over.
No, you're right, because he did get that info. Yeah. He did get that knowledge of the road poneglyphs, that there was another island that you know, Loadstar was not the last island, and he got that there. So if that's the case, it has to have some significant connection to the Void Century. It is the last island in the Grand Line. Like, it would be weird for that to just be completely glossed over. You know, it's weird. It's funny you mention it, because like up until recently, I've been in the camp that like, oh, we don't need to go to Loadstar. It's like not that important. But recently, I've kind of like shifted around on that a little bit, and I've been looking at it like this. Oda has been doing kind of like a mirror of like entering the Grand Line and exiting the Grand Line, pre-time skip, post-time skip. A lot of the arcs kind of like parallel each other in a lot of ways. You know, you have Fishman Island with like Arlong 2, basically. You have Dressrosa with Crocodile 2, basically. You have Whole Cake Island with, you know, Robin getting kidnapped 2, and then Lucci, you know, 2. Like it's like repeating the things that happen pre-time skip. So it's like, okay, let's look at what happens at the end of the Grand Line. Well, at the beginning of the Grand Line, it wasn't one big island at a time. It was like a quick succession of visits to islands. Like we had Whiskey Peak, then to Little Garden, then to Drum Island, and then to Alabasta. And, you know, it could very well be that the end of the arc or the end of the story is going to be the same way, where it's like after Egghead, we get, you know, Elbaf mirroring the Little Garden thing. And then from Elbaf, we go to, I don't know, some other island, Vera, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. And it's like, it's all short, right? It's like short. Like we go to Elbaf for a little bit. We move from Elbaf to the next one after a short time. We go to Vera and we stay there for like a day. And then we go to Loadstar for a short time, and it's the same as Whiskey Peak. Whiskey Peak was the first island on the Grand Line that they were at, and they were at there for a very short period of time. So it's like, okay, so they go to, it's like a kind of like a repeat of Whiskey Peak with like Loadstar in some kind of way, and maybe that's where it all kind of like comes together right towards the end, and then obviously Lavtail after that. But like I could see the rest of the final saga, because like I can't imagine Oda has many more like 100 chapter arcs left in him. So dude, yeah, like there's no way.
I hope not.
Yeah, me too.
I love One Piece, but I'm like, Oda, I need you to like be like ready to like end the story.
Yeah.
dog, if One Piece, like you know, knock on wood, obviously, but like if it ever gets to a point where like we never got to see the end of One Piece, I don't know what I would do.
Yeah, bro.
I don't know. I don't know what
I would be destroyed. I would be a zombie. I would be like a hollowed human being if I didn't get to see this story end. So I'm down for it to end, like not obviously soon, but like in the the relatively near future. So like we need shorter arcs now. We need to kind of like make these arcs snappier, and I feel like that's what Oda's going for, because Egghead wasn't like the longest arc ever, but it just had a lot happening. Like there's a lot that happened in a short time. So he could do the same thing with Elbaf. He could do the same thing with Loadstar. And I hope that the next big arc we get is Laugh Tale. Like the next time I want to see a long arc is Laugh Tale, and that's it. Aside from that, everything else can be short. I'm fine with that.
We don't need another Wano.
Yeah.
We don't need another Wano. Wano is Wano, like I went back and looked. It's about like 148 chapters, 149 chapters, I think. And like I remember when it got to like oh dude, it was maybe when we were like on Roof Piece by that point.
Mm-hmm.
And it was at least post when Luffy awakened Advanced Conquerors. I swear, like I saw so many times in the community, me included, where people were like, "All right, cool, we got about like 15 or 20 chapters left," and that went on. That went on for like months, where people were saying, "All right, 15 or 20 chapters left," and dog.
And it's funny because the end of Wano didn't like it ended quicker than people wanted too. Because when we finally got the Gear 5 thing, the rest of the fight was done in like 3 chapters. So it was like 50 chapters building up to that, and then when it happened, it like end like that. And we didn't even get like a proper goodbye chapter for Momo. He just like waved us goodbye in like a small tiny panel on the page. Oda was so ready to get out of that place. He's like, all right, let's just get the fuck out of Wano now. Let's just go to the next island. I'm done with this,
I think the anime extended it, right?
Yeah, they did a little bit.
Kind of like fleshed it out a little bit.
There's only so much you could do though. There's only so much filler or whatever you could write to like extend that. I mean, the anime already cripples itself trying to extend the story. Like
speaking of Wano, I wanted to ask you this.
Yeah.
Do you feel like the cover story we're getting right now, do you think it's leading somewhere?
Yeah.
Or do you think it's just kind of like a fun, what are these characters up to kind of thing?
No, we're done with those. Where every cover story from now on is going to have some kind of plot relevance, I feel like. Because especially with the reveal that Pluton's in Wano, this cover story is dealing with Yamato and Momo potentially, and Wano in general. This cover story is going to... Something's going to happen. Yeah. The last cover story we had Pudding getting kidnapped from Whole Cake.
When I was rereading Egghead, I was like, yo, I still can't believe this.
Yeah.
Like, Oda did that in the cover story.
Yeah, he put significant events in the cover story, and then like only a handful of chapters later, we see Pudding again with the Blackbeard pirate. So it's like, okay, we've gotten to the point now where cover stories are going to interweave with the story directly, and it's not going to be long in the future. It's like something happens in the cover story, 10 chapters later, that might affect what happens in the plot. So we got to start paying attention to what's going on with Yamato, because it's going to be relevant. It's going to be relevant.
Because here's the thing, like I love when Oda does the cover request. I really like appreciate that, like he's like that, like caring about his fans, that he'll like takes like submissions and be like, all right, cool, I like that idea, let me draw that. But like I will be honest, as a fan who like needs to know what's happening, like there'll be times where I'm like, dog, another cover request this week, dog, I need to know what's happening. After that one with Pudding and Aokiji and Van Agra, I'm like, dog, I need the next story. Like, bro, like what's he gonna show us next? It's like, you're already giving us like back to Wano. I'm like, bro, where is this going? I'm like, there's no way this is gonna be like, Yamato having fun traveling around
chilling,
Wano like Odin,
eating Odin.
I'm like,
eating like the soup.
No way.
Yeah, like that's
there's no way.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen, bro. We're getting some significant events like chapter to chapter. I feel like it's not gonna pop off yet. I think we got like maybe 5 more chapters of the cover story before something crazy happens. But I could see it like lining up with the end of Egghead. Like something crazy happens to Yamato and Wano. They leave Egghead. The arc ends. Like it's like a climactic moment. And just as the arc's coming down off the climax, something's happening in the cover story that's like gonna weave into the next part of the story. I could see that. I think it's going to be with the ancient weapon, because we had the whole thing with Caribou talking about, well, I know where the ancient weapons are. So they dipped Egghead already. They're gone.
Dude.
So for all we know right now, Caribou is talking to Blackbeard about Pluton. And then in like 4 chapters, the cover story is going to show Blackbeard pulling up to Wano with Caribou. And that's what I think's going to that's got to be what happens. That's got to be like that's the way, that's the only way it could go at this point. He's not going to stop at Fishman Island first because Wano is closer to Pirate Island. Like that's all the way at the halfway point. So he's going to Wano first for Pluton before anything else. So that's going to be soon, you know.
Dude. Oh my god. Because I remember like that being a fan theory for so long with Caribou about like, oh man, what if this person he's talking about is Blackbeard? What if it's Blackbeard? And then it's like, yo, it's really Blackbeard. And it's like,
makes sense.
Like, oh man, this dude Blackbeard, he always just kind of like falls into like the luck, getting lucky with something and an opportunity, and it's like now you're handing him this guy who knows the location of 2 of the ancient weapons. Oh,
and it fits, bro. Caribou's an opportunist. He's an opportunist to the core. I mean, like, and also I couldn't think of a better like group of douchebags for him to fit in with besides the Blackbeard pirates. Like they're probably the worst of the worst. You know, like it fits Caribou. Caribou's like evil. Like, just look at the guy. He's evil, bro. Like he has like he has like the evil, like angry, like villain eyes and the tongue hanging out the mouth, and he's like obviously he's a bad guy. I can't believe the people that were saying he was gonna join the Straw Hats. That was insane to me. I never bought that. No, that was never gonna happen.
I never bought that.
Never in a million years. Real quick, let's check in with the chat. So we got a member message from Bailey, Boiler Boy Bailey. He said, hyped to finally catch a stream again. Cook Goats, thank you very much. Appreciate you. And they also left a message. What are we sipping on tonight, boys? What are you sipping on right now, Edenz?
What I am sipping on, because you know, it is a Hidden Island stream. My boy is the bartender. I had to go in, get me some Crown Apple.
Beautiful.
For the stream.
I'm about to finish this vodka lemonade right now. It's like a highball, kind of. It's pretty good. But also got another question.
I enjoy these kind of whoopie talks. My bad.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure, bro. No, I want this to be. This is a relaxing. We're just chilling out and talking. That's why I told you I was like, yo, get the drink because we're just gonna like sit back and shoot the shit. Dak asked, "What's up, Dak?" He said, "Who you got winning the NBA Finals?"
Oh my god.
Just give your team. No explanation needed. Just drop the team. Who do you think's winning?
No explanation needed. Oh man. All right. Complete bias. The New Orleans Pelicans. If
Okay.
I had to be logical about it, I'm gonna be boring. Go with the boring pick and pick the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah. Jokic is a threat, but I'm gonna give it to the Knicks. I think the Knicks are taking the finals.
If the Knicks win, dude,
I'm gonna go crazy.
Going crazy.
I'm gonna
go crazy.
I'm gonna get so wasted on stream. I'm doing a celebration stream. I'm going on stream. I'm gonna buy balloons. I'm gonna put fucking blue and orange balloons in the room and shit. I'm gonna go crazy if the Knicks win a ring.
If the Knicks win, I will go crazy.
Yeah, that'd be insane. I mean, we got a tough run actually by the looks of it, but
hey,
you know,
look,
I believe.
All I'm hoping is if y'all end up meeting them, I pray like. If not Miami, I pray y'all are the ones that take down the Boston Celtics. That's the only team I don't want to see win it all.
Yeah,
the Boston Celtics.
It's doable.
I'm a Boston Celtics hater.
I can't blame you. I hope I think we should. We could do it. We could do it. We need to take out the Heat. They took us out last year, so it's like a revenge situation, you know. But yeah, no, I believe in the. If we had Randall, it would be free, but we don't have Randall, so. So we're gonna have to fight for it. Good thing Brunson's the best player on the planet right now. So anyway, back to the discussion. No need to debate that, guys. You don't have to debate me on that point. I'm just gonna put that out there. All right. So we were talking. And by the way, thank you for the messages, guys. I appreciate the questions. So we were talking about rest of the story, final saga. Let's talk about this little thing, because this has been like a theory that's kind of popped into my mind recently. I don't know if people are going to hate this or love this. I think we still have potentially a final crewmate to join the crew that the Straw Hats haven't formally met yet.
Haven't met yet. So
yeah.
So like this is not including Vivi.
Well, one of the Straw Hats is. I think there's a potential we get a recruit on Elbaf. And
really?
Yeah. So I want to ask you. I'll give my answer after that. Well, actually, you know what? Maybe it's better if I give you my answer now. Then I'll ask you what you think. I think that there's a potential that Saul maybe joins the Straw Hats.
Saul.
Yeah,
really?
Jaguar D Saul. And this is very recent. This idea came to me recently. I've been up until now I've been really against anyone else joining the crew because I feel like we have too many people as it is. And I thought Momo and Yamato, like, you know, they were the runners up for like who was going to join next, but they kind of got left behind on Wano. I'm just thinking maybe possibly Saul. And the reason I think that is because, like, one of the big dilemmas with adding a Straw Hat is it has to be a person that has, you know, you can't just add a completely new character that has no dynamic with the Straw Hats at all, out of nowhere. But for me, it's like Saul does have that bond with Robin specifically. And that wouldn't be a new person for Robin. And in regards to Robin's past, I'm not sure how much the Straw Hats know about that, if they even know about Saul. But the whole idea that Saul was brought back up in Egghead and we're going to meet him again, it just makes me think like, okay, number one, why would I see someone mention Vivi. I mean, Vivi's gonna rejoin, of course. But I was just thinking like, okay, Oda kept Saul alive for a reason. So Saul's still around. Why did he keep him? Because, like, you could have accomplished the same exact story events with keeping him dead at the end of the flashback, but Oda chose to bring him back. He has that
Right, we're talking about the library.
Yeah, So with the library, he has that deep relationship with Robin, and I think one of the big things for me, the linchpin in the idea, is the fact that he said to Robin before he got frozen, like, you'll find your friends one day. You're gonna find your nakama. And his whole thing with Robin was like, you're going to find your friends that care about you. And he said that because he was her friend too, obviously. Like, he would have been her nakama if he had the chance. But he thought he was going to die there, right? So, but he didn't die. He's still alive. And Robin's still alive. And Saul doesn't have an allegiance anymore because he left the Marines. And he is not an Elbaf giant. He's not a native to Elbaf. So out of all the giants on Elbaf, he's the only one there that doesn't necessarily have familial connections, like, he doesn't have a reason to really stay on Elbaf because he's not like, in Momo's case, right, he was the shogun of Wano. Like, he can't just leave Wano, right? Like, it's not easy for him to just leave. In Vivi's case, she was the princess of her country. But with Saul's case, he's just a giant. He's not an Elbaf giant. He has no real reason to stay on Elbaf permanently. At least we don't know yet. Maybe he'll give us one when we meet him again. But the way I see it is, like, out of all the giant characters, it would just be cool to have a giant on the Straw Hat crew. And think about it this way: we still have San Juan Wolf. We have San Juan Wolf on the Blackbeard crew, who is a giant also. So, like,
that would solve that matchup so quick.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, so if we get a giant on the Straw Hats, you know, that can kind of go toe to toe. I don't know. I'm just like that. Look, I haven't thought this idea into the nitty gritty. I haven't thought it through that deeply. But I've been giving it some thought this past couple weeks. Look, guys, if you guys think this is a crazy idea, I'm just going to tell you right now, this is what happens when you go on break for 3 weeks. You have no new One Piece, okay? Your mind starts to do weird things. And my mind's been doing some weird shit. It's been doing backflips right now, thinking about Jaguar D Saul. So I'm just thinking, like, yeah, maybe there's a chance we get another D on the crew. And he is a member of the D. He's a D clan. Yeah. Damn. And we don't know what that's about either. It's like, why is he a D clan? Like, we've never seen another giant with a D in their name. So it's like, okay, so he's a D clan member. He has no, like, reason really to stay on Elbaf. He has connections to other characters that are already on the Straw Hats. Could it be? You know, also, think about this. Saul was in the Marines. He was very closely acquainted with Garp, Luffy's grandfather. So he already has, like, some kind of impression of Luffy based on his impression of Garp.
Oh, snap.
And, you know, if he did work alongside Garp before, like, who's to say he won't work alongside his grandson? You know, I've seen crazier things happen in the story already. We've seen villains become Straw Hats. We've seen warlords become Straw Hats. We've seen some weird. We've seen skeletons join the crew in 5 seconds after being asked to. So the idea to me that, like, yeah, Saul maybe has a reason to join up and follow the Straw Hats to the end of the Grand Line, join up with Robin and meet Robin and all her friends, I could see that happening. So You know, maybe I'm going crazy on break week or whatever, break month, but I just want to put that out there. What are your thoughts? Do you disagree? It's fine if you do. Do you have
So,
an alternative idea,
mm,
or do you think we're done on Straw Hats for now?
so here's the thing, right? I'm the guy. So if I had to say like most likely or least likely, I'll lean towards least likely. But I become the guy who like I can't tell somebody when they throw a One Piece theory at me. If I can't tell them like, oh yo, no, you're crazy. That's not happening because it's One Piece. Like we don't know what's gonna happen.
Sure.
Like was I expecting an Egghead that Oda would give us this tragic Kuma flashback and his relations to Bonney and these ties to Saturn and I don't know Kizaru involved in all this and then not one but all five Gorosei coming in and showing like these demonic forms. No, I would not. So like I can't sit here and say any theory is like, oh yeah, nah, you're crazy. Because I've seen the Mihawks is a sword. I've seen the Pluton is a Mose. Amazing theories, and I'm like, yo, I can't say those are crazy because it's One Piece.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something there.
Yeah, you have to like keep your mind open because Oda could throw curveballs. Like, you know, obviously he has a method to the madness. There's definitely like reasoning in the world or why these things happen. So it's not like totally random. But, you know, is it that crazy that a giant joins the crew? I think it would be kind of cool. Maybe I don't know. Like there's definitely some holes in there. I saw someone in the chat mention like, do they have a place for him to sleep on the Sunny? And I don't think they do, but there's a chance maybe Frankie, you know, he builds him like a little pool floaty that they hang off the back of the boat and he like sits in it and he gets pulled by the ship. I don't know, bro. Like, you know, like I'm just saying it's an interesting thought. And but yeah, I would be down if there's any characters left in the story that could join. That's like the only one besides like Momo and Vivi to me because there's no one else that really fits that.
I will say this too. I like it because it shakes things up. At least for the sake of conversation. Because you know it's always been like I would say right now at least it's always like Yamato or Vivi right now. You know, with the most likely one being Vivi.
Mm-hmm.
So you know it's at least like fun for discussion's sake. Like it shakes things up. Cause it keeps the conversation from getting like repetitive. So I like it for if anything I like it for that.
Yeah.
They
could also get that kid. There was that kid that wanted to join, like the kid giant that wanted to join Shanks's crew. Maybe he joins Luffy's crew. Imagine he's the cabin boy, and he would fit on the ship. He's like actually normal sized. So.
Oh my god.
Okay,
speaking of joining crews, I wanted to ask you. So
sure.
I've seen this come up. I want to say maybe it started around when we started getting like the Kuma flashback, but do you see Bonney potentially being a Straw Hat?
I think she's a Trafalgar Law situation. I think she's gonna be with the crew for a period of time. Like there's a bunch of characters in the story now that are like semi Straw Hats or like honorary Straw Hats, you know, where it's like Law. Obviously he has his own crew, but like Law was with them for a while. Kinemon was with them for a while. I feel like this is another one of those situations. As much as I would be down to have Bonney around like for the rest of the story, I don't know. I think that she kind of has her own thing going on, especially with Kuma. Like her entire adventure at sea was for her dad, was for Kuma. Now that that's all getting finished, like does Bonney really have a reason to go pirating anymore? Like aside from maybe dodging the world government's going to want to be on her ass, but like it's two big things for me that make me think no. Thing number one is like her motive, like her goal, right? Every Straw Hat has a goal that they have to pursue. She doesn't really have one anymore. Once she's done all this, once Egghead is over, her goal for setting out to sea is pretty much complete. And then number two, she's in control of all the Pacifista.
Dude,
so
yeah, right.
That would be kind of
so
busted
crazy.
to carry that
So
around on your
crazy.
ship. That's like an ancient weapon tier power to just have like on your ship, you know?
So crazy thing, right? So like I feel like I got more like not validated, but I felt more confident in this when that happened. For me, when the whole conversation about like what's gonna happen with Bonney post Egghead, I think so for me, I became so sold on it after the Kuma flashback. I think she could potentially become a member of the Revolutionaries.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because you know that Kuma was a member, Jenny was a member. It's like, yo, One Piece is all about inherited wills.
Yep.
Bonney can take Kuma's place, assuming he dies here. Even still, let's say he doesn't, like, you know, still in Jenny's place. You know, it would be assuming, like, you know, she's able to like get all the Pacifista. That's a big boost to Dragon side, knowing like what we know about the world government now with the Gorosei's demonic forms. Maybe they don't. We know they got like at least 3 other Seraphim, right? They got the Doflamingo, Geckomoria, and the Crocodile
Crocodile
Seraphim.
ones. Yep.
Yeah, so they still got those. So I'm like, maybe Bonney gets the other Seraphim on their side along with these remaining Pacifista to boost Dragon's forces. What was it? The God Knights, we still have no idea what's up with them, but we can assume that they're really strong. Like, so it's like Oda's been like really bolstering the world government's forces when it's like, dog, y'all didn't have enough already with the admirals and you know, what we thought were going to be the Pacifista at the time, and now the God Knights, and now the Gorosei, what we know about them, Emu, Kong. I'm
throw Kong in there.
I put the Kong agenda. I'm gonna just throw Kong in there.
Yeah, Kong.
It's strong as fuck. Kong,
yeah. Yeah, Green Bull. Yeah.
Hey, Oda will give me the greatest gift if he makes Kong relevant. Oda will give me the greatest gift if he makes Kong relevant.
Yeah, you slipped that one in there. That was like that was slick. You were like naming all the top players, like people that are like world level threats, and then it's just like, yeah, put Kong in there. He's like been sitting at a desk.
I had to.
Yeah,
I'm like,
Jabra,
the greatest gift, bro.
Yeah, yeah, put Jabra in there too while we're at it.
Oh my god, oh dude, I always, all right. So the joke I always tell my friends, right? Like, not to like completely change the topic. Just
sure.
Quick side note. The joke I always tell my friends is like, yo, bro, stop sleeping on Kong. That man has the greatest fish tank in the verse. He drowns devil fruit users in that fish tank. Stop sleeping on Kong. He is
that's a direct counter to devil fruit users. That's actually like what he's known for. Yeah, he has.
I always tell people, yo, Sengoku was trying to quit the Marines. Kong said no. What did Sengoku do? He's like, all right, I'll take the job you offer me. Yo, stop sleeping on Kong. Sengoku couldn't tell no to him. What does that tell you? What does that tell you?
Bro, if you know what I'll say you're right about is we're definitely getting Kong when we go. Obviously, we're going to get the Roger flashback, like the full picture of Roger's like career. Kong's going to have to be active in that in some way, right? Because he was the fleet admiral. That dude's going to do something. He has to do something, right?
I hope so.
He's never living it down if he doesn't.
I won't look crazy.
Yeah.
I won't look crazy if he does.
Yeah, no, I'm down for that. I mean, and you said about the revolutionaries, like Bonney joins the revolutionaries. It's kind of sick, right? Because she fulfills Ginny's role and Kuma's role at the same time.
Yes.
Now, because I have to bring this up before I forget this, but like, you know, just think about it this way: she looks like Ginny, and she probably has like the experience of, you know, with tech to some degree, being on Egghead Island for so long. Maybe she's not like Ginny levels of genius, but like she knows some, you know, she could do some stuff. She's able to do reconnaissance. She's able to change her age and like be a spy kind of in that way. So she has experience. She snuck into Marijois doing that, right? So she has experience on like recon, like she can do recon. And then on top of that, she controls all the Pacifista who look like Kuma. So she controls an army of Kumas while looking like Ginny, and the revolutionaries are going to potentially have that on their side. So they got Kuma back. They got like
potentially the Pacifista too. So
the you mean like the Kuma Seraphim? Right?
I mean the Seraphim.
So
Seraphim, my bad.
I'm not sure on all the Seraphim, but I wouldn't doubt if she got the Kuma Seraphim, because Vegapunk said, you know, I don't want you to get killed by someone that has your father's face. Kuma Seraphim has his face, so she might have at the very least that one. So
at the very least, one is still crazy. One alone is still crazy.
A Seraphim, army of Pacifista, good devil fruit powers that she can use. Like, if the Revs needed a boost, that's their boost. That's their buff right there is Bonney. So I think you're right about that. I think she's gonna join the Revs.
Plus, I think that gives Bonney motivation post the story, because so for example, right, you said like how Law. You think Bonnie's going to be in like a Law situation. Law's motivation, aside from like the plan he initiated in Punk Hazard, was to take down Kaido, and then we found out that, oh, you really wanted to take down Doflamingo,
Yep.
but you're gonna follow through with the Kaido thing anyway because this is what you started.
Yep.
But we saw in at the end of Dressrosa, when he was talking to Sengoku, he wants to know what is the meaning of the will of D. So like that's his whole motivation now, and Bonnie's motivation, I could see that with how much the world government has been involved in this arc. I can see that being her motivation now. Like, yo, I want to finish the job that my dad couldn't because of me. So I want to, in some way, do whatever I can to take down Saturn, take down everything Saturn like stood for his side. I want to take down the world government for what they did to my dad. And you know, who's the main orchestrator of all that? Dragon. So I could see that. It fits so well. I will be so surprised if Oda doesn't go that route.
Oh yeah, no, I'm with you. I think that there's no other way it could go like that. Like, I can't imagine Bonnie's gonna just sit around. I don't think she's joining the Straw Hats. So where else is she gonna go? It's the world government, especially after what just happened with the Pacifista. They're gonna be after her. There's no way they're gonna just let her, you know, wander off. So she has to go somewhere. She needs protection. So that's gonna be with them. Like that just makes the most sense. So, but yeah. So let's shift topics a little bit. We're still talking theories here, but I want to know in general, what's your, because you know there's a lot of theories about this. Obviously, what's your favorite theory about endgame One Piece? Either it could be about the ancient kingdom, it could be about what the One Piece is, it could be about the end of the story in general, how the story's gonna end. Just, you know, with whatever we got left in One Piece, what's your favorite theory that's still, like, you know, has left to be answered about that? Anything come to mind?
My favorite theory, I don't know where it started. I think maybe Morge made, but I believe Morge made the video on it. I really love the idea of seeing the red line, or at least one part of the red line, come down. Because you know, obviously it's symbolic with the story, with the worlds are all connected now with this path. You know, technically Sanji's dream is achieved with the all blue, where all the oceans connect.
Yep.
And plus, like, I just want to see Oda draw it. I want to see Oda drawing that shit come down.
Yeah, I think that would be,
because like it's a massive mountain. It's a massive mountain. Like, and it's like, for hundreds of years, it's just been this giant belt around the world, and it's like, assumably, like, it won't come, it can't be destroyed by cannon fodder because it's so fucking gigantic,
right?
And you know, there's also lore there with like the
Lunarians.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you. Lunarians. There's lore there, so I want to know more about that. Like, what was that all about? Because Oda just threw that in Wano and was like, yeah. You know, that's a thing. But
you just like
Oda, please answer that. Please answer that. I want to know. But yeah, that's probably my favorite one. That and the party piece. Because, you know how there's a big party at the end of usually at, not every arc, but like the really big ones, a big party. So I want to see if like that whole like worldwide party thing ends up being possible. Like, I want to see if that's what Oda has in mind, how he's gonna draw it. Because I think that would be amazing.
Yeah, I think that was Artur's idea. I really like that theory a lot because I think, you know, if there's anything that could make sense for Luffy's dream, not the One Piece specifically, but Luffy's dream, that makes a lot of sense to me. I could see that being like what it is. I mean, it just fits his character so well. Let me ask you about the red line. How do you think it's going to come down? Do you think there's a specific way that it's going to get, like, who's going to do it? How's it going to happen? Like, do you have any ideas? Because I put out a video theory recently talking about this exact topic, and I want to hear your thoughts before I let you know mine.
Okay. So I have like maybe like two ideas. The first idea is maybe it has to be like a culmination of all the ancient weapons like being used on this on the red line. Like, maybe one itself isn't powerful enough. So, you know, that's just like one idea I had in mind. But, you know, we have to see how powerful these things are on their own when they're finally like utilized in the story. And my second idea is, it's a little bit simplified, but I could very well see like Luffy being Luffy and punching Emu like through the red line and just making that whole thing crumble. Or at least like a portion of it crumble with Pangea Castle and all that. I could see Luffy doing that. So that's probably like where I'm at right now.
I actually like both those answers because, like, you know, for the I'll start with the second one. Luffy punching Emu like through the red line or something kind of makes sense. We've seen Garp do Blue Hole to Aokiji, right? Like he did.
Yeah, yeah.
He did like he punched Aokiji into the ground and like sent him down, like sent him through the earth, basically.
What a good fight.
Yeah, so I could see Luffy doing like a similar kind of move. And then the other reason I like that is because I said this in the last video. I was saying this. Arlong Park. I always felt like Arlong Park is symbolic of the world at large. And the way, you know, like Nami, so like Arlong ran his group, he took over the island, he determined that, like, you know, a good portion of the people, or like all the people there that weren't fishmen, are like subhuman, and they have to answer to the fishmen, and they have to pay their tribute money to the fishmen to keep their lives. And Arlong took Nami and basically made her a slave working for him up in his tower. So it's like the same thing that the Celestial Dragons did,
okay.
right? Like they took over the world, they demand tribute money from everyone in, you know, in exchange for their lives and protection. They take slaves back to Marijois. So that's what Arlong was doing, basically 1-to-1. And what happened when Luffy went up into Arlong Park and he saw Nami's room, he destroyed the whole building and he hit Arlong and sent Arlong to the bottom of the building and took the building down with it. So if it's like the same thing, you know, it could be like with Marijois where he sends Emu through the entire red line and the whole thing crumbles like Arlong Park did.
I would love it.
Yeah, I think that could be sick.
I would love it. Cause you probably seen it in the fan discussion, but there's a lot of discussion where people think I see Man Carrot said
the audio is lower.
Lower.
Yeah, I actually just raised it. Let me know if the audio is better now, guys. I'm sorry about that. I thought it was pretty equal by the looks of it on my audio mixer, but it should be better now. But if it's still low, just let me know.
Okay. What I was saying too is, like, you know, I say this all the time. Like, One Piece fans love using like one of the key words of a One Piece fan is parallel. And you know, rightfully so, because they are there. And I've seen a lot of discussion about, like, you know, the parallels with Doflamingo, where you look back on it and there's like parallels with Doflamingo and Emu, with the way like Treble and everybody was bowing to him as a kid. You see the Gorosei bowing to Emu, Birdcage, Luffy being, not Luffy, Doflamingo being a celestial dragon, and you see the way Luffy beat him and like sent the guy who was like on top, the heavenly demon, into the ground. And you know, there's I've seen like the idea, and I like how cool it would be for Luffy to do that same thing with Emu, like punching Emu through Pangea Castle, the whole thing crumbling, continuing down to the red line. Maybe hopefully sending Emu like into the ocean too. Maybe for all we know, Emu can't swim. And like I think that would be very, very poetic, you know, with the whole talk about like how Emu is like the controls like water or the ocean or something like that, but like is like the enemy of devil fruit users or something like that. So, but what if Emu can't swim themselves? So it'd be kind of interesting if like Luffy like sends Emu down to the bottom like that. And also like, you know, that would also tie into you know, Fishman Island being destroyed potentially. Like, you know, if the red line falling on it is what destroys Fishman Island.
It's a prophecy.
There's a lot of things. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of things Oda is setting up to where like it's gonna all come like full circle, and I'm just like sitting here like, all right, how are you gonna make this work?
Because you see Dune.
I see the piece. I see pieces. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen Dune yet. I haven't seen it yet.
I was gonna make a Dune reference.
Talk to you about
it. When you watch it, let me know. We'll have a talk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's good. No, but yeah, I'm with you, man. I think that would make a lot of sense. I think that if anyone's gonna die from, you know, devil fruit powers in the water, it's gonna be either Emu or Blackbeard. Like that's like one of the two. It's the only two people that would make sense to do it to, you know, because it hasn't happened to anyone in the story. It's been a constant weakness for the whole story, but it's never actually. No one's ever died from it, so we need to see it at least once in the story.
At least once. I agree with it being Blackbeard because again, when I was like going through Egghead, something that Law pointed out was that he's like, oh yeah, so all your crew has powers now, and
that's a big weakness.
But that's a problem. Yeah, your weakness is a C, and then Blackbeard's like, hey, it's worth the risk and all that. And I'm like, why have Blackbeard be the guy to say this?
Yeah,
because we know he has to go down. Why have Blackbeard be the guy to say this? Because he's gonna one that gambles and loses, and you know is the one that drowns in the end.
And he has more than one devil fruit. Like if anyone's gonna die to the weakness from devil fruits, it has to be the guy that's like hoarding them, you know?
Hoarding them and is trying to get a third apparently.
Yeah.
Because he went for Boa. And I'm still trying to figure out, okay, how does Boa's power tie into your plans? What are you after, man?
That's still a big mystery. I have no idea. I've been trying to figure that out for a minute. I have no idea. I'll be perfectly honest. Like I think the idea that there's someone frozen in stone, you know, that Teach wants to free using those powers could make sense, but I don't know what else. But yeah, the other theory you mentioned that the ancient weapons could be used to destroy the Red Line, and I think that's my personal choice for the answer, because for me, like, you know, the ancient weapons were designed for a reason, and if we're gonna assume the ancient kingdom wasn't this evil kingdom, they weren't designing these weapons just to like kill people and destroy islands. That wasn't their goal. So what was why would you make something so destructive? What would the goal of that be? Well, you know, 2 of the ancient weapons now that we know of have been described as being able to destroy islands in a different way. Pluton, it said 1 shot could vaporize an island. Poseidon has the power to sink islands with the Sea Kings. So my thought was like, okay, so if the ancient weapons are going to be used for anything, they probably were designed to destroy the Red Line. And they're designed to destroy it from 3 points of attack. Because you can't just destroy it. You can't destroy it just from the middle. You can't destroy it just from the bottom. You got to destroy it from 3 directions. You got to have something on the surface of the water attacking it right in the middle. You got to have something underwater sinking it. You got to have something from the top, Uranus, right? Like the god of the sky. You got to have something from the top attacking from the top. So when all 3, if all 3 get used together, and that's the key, all 3 at the same time, they can be used to destroy the Red Line. And it was Otohime who was telling Shirahoshi that, I think it was she was telling Shirahoshi this, or maybe someone else, but she was saying that, you know, her power is very, very great, very dangerous. It could cause a lot of destruction, but one day someone will arrive who will guide her to her true purpose. And it shows the silhouette of a dude with a cloak that kind of looks like Shanks, but it's obviously like Joy Boy. So it's obvious, like, so Joy Boy is going to be the one. Like, they designed the ancient weapons to be led by Joy Boy to do something. And if the Red Line is like this big cage around the world, this big ring that like the world government rules from, they control the world, it would make sense if that's what the purpose is to take them down with that. And I mean, there's all this other lore with the Elbaf. Like I was talking about Ragnarok in the video, and about how like in Nordic mythology they believed in like a world snake that wrapped around the world. And when that snake lets go of its tail, that's when like the world is going to end and all the gods are going to get defeated, and then the humans are going to rise, you know, as the new rulers of the world, basically. So if it's like, if that's what's happening here, right? You know, like if it's a Ragnarok thing where like this is like a great serpent, and if it gets destroyed, that means the end of the gods, end of the celestial dragons, new era of for the humans, the normal people. So like, you know, I think that makes the most sense to me for how it's going to come down. But you know, there's obviously a lot of ways Oda could do it. I wouldn't be surprised if he just has Gear 5 like turned into like a giant thing and just like smashes
a giant of a giant.
Yeah, he's just like a giant, like he's like the size of like a planet. It's like Gurren Lagann or something, and he just like knocks knocks the fucking wall down, you know.
Oh no, dude! I love that theory. I love that theory so much because you know, you're incorporating all of the ancient weapons into working like what they do best. So I had a question for you. So
sure.
Do you think Uranus, whatever the third one's name is, do you think the world government already has possession of it? Because I have kind of like, if not, I have a little theory in regards to like not where it is, but like how we're gonna find out where it is.
Okay, so real quick, I'll tell you what I think, and then I'll let you do your thing and tell me your theory, because I'm interested to hear this. So for me, my idea was that the 3 ancient weapons are in very specific locations, and I think they're tied to, once again, the Nordic mythology thing I was bringing up. So you know how in Nordic mythos they got like a big tree. They say the whole world is part of a giant tree, the world tree, right?
Yep.
So I was thinking that, okay, well, in One Piece, there might be a world tree also, it's not like the world is literally part of a tree, but there's a tree that's like the most important, biggest tree in the world. What would that be? The devil fruit tree. So
Yeah.
there's a devil fruit tree that's potentially, I think it's in the Holy Land. It connects from Marijois down to Fishman Island. They get their light in Fishman Island from the roots of the sunlight tree Eve or whatever. So I think that's the devil fruit tree. I'll save the explanation on that, but that's pretty much what it is. Now, if there's a world tree in One Piece, well, in the mythos, there was the belief that the world tree had 3 roots that connected to 3 locations. And it pulled water. Okay. The water fueled the tree from 3 specific locations. And these locations seem to match up pretty well with the locations in One Piece so far that we've found the ancient weapons located at, which I think is pretty cool. So there's 3 wells that the tree roots get water from, and one of them is located in the deepest part of the world, where it's in the source of all life and all water. And in this place where this first root is located, there's a ton of like monstrous snakes and dragons. Well, can we think of a place in One Piece where all water, all life comes from the source of water, the source of life, that's surrounded by a bunch of serpents, giant serpents? Fishman Island, where one of the ancient weapons is.
I still hear you.
I think the cam might. You might be jostling the cable. It's all good. Yeah, you're still on here. Okay. So you have Fishman Island. One of the ancient weapons is in Fishman Island, under the ocean, deepest part of the world, at the bottom of the tree, and it's surrounded by sea kings. These serpents inhabit, right by there. Okay, next route is located in the land of the giants. And I'm not saying this in One Piece. In Nordic mythology, one of the routes is connected to the land of the giants. And this is a place of wisdom, supposedly. And Odin made a sacrifice there. He sacrificed his eye in exchange for the wisdom. Well, we have Elbaf, land of the giants, territory of Shanks, who has a scar over his eye. And that's his location. So, and then the third location is high up in the highest place, and it's a well where it's the route connects to this place where there's these 3 women that predict the future, and they write the future down. They write runes on a thing.
The Fates? Is it the Fates?
It's like the Fates. Like basically, it's the same thing. They're called Norns. So, what do we have in Wano? We have a woman, Toki, who comes to the future, uses her powers, and talks about prophecies and stuff like this. We have the Wano people who wrote the Poneglyphs, just like the Norns. They wrote the future. They inscribed the future on the wood or whatever. The people of Wano inscribed the prophecies on the Poneglyphs. And in the mythology, they even call themselves, like, they weave history. They actually weave threads, like they weave the history, And in Skypiea, when Robin reads the Poneglyph, what does it say? It says, "We are the ones who weave history." So it's like, okay, so Wano is not located sea level. It's not located at the deepest part. It's elevated. So you have one located elevated with the future seers, the people writing the history. You have one located in the land of giants at sea level, and you have one located in the deepest part in Fishman Island with all the serpents. So it could be that those roots, maybe this is a stretch, but those roots are connecting to 3 locations that have One Piece parallels there. Like there's we have one ancient weapon located underwater in Wano. We have another ancient weapon located underwater in Fishman Island, 2 wells. Tree gets its roots from wells. Or tree gets its water from wells. And then we have a third one in Elbaf. We don't know if it's underwater there. If I had to guess, I think it's underwater. I think the third one is also underwater. So it's like, I think the third ancient weapon's got to be on Elbaf. I'm like convinced it's on Elbaf. And if it happens to be there, my guess is it's going to be underwater. It's going to be submerged somewhere on Elbaf. And I think that brings it all together. I mean, that if Oda's pulling from any mythos, I know I said this is going to be quick. I'm sorry, but
you're good. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah. So like, yeah, I really believe in this. I think if Oda's pulling from any mythos, he's pulling from the Nordic stuff, because one of his biggest inspirations, I'm sure was Vicky the Viking, which is a cartoon he used to watch as a kid.
Yeah.
And
I heard about that one.
Yeah, so Vicky the Viking was about this like Viking kid who wanted to join and become like a Viking like everyone else. He writes One Piece. It's a story about a kid who wants to be a pirate like his idol. And It's heavily inspired by that, and the little giant kid on Elbaf that was talking to Shanks is like a 1-to-1, almost like a copy of Vicky the Viking. So Oda's like he's making references to Nordic mythos. He's making references to Vikings. We're going to Elbaf next. Why'd he save Elbaf for the end of the story? Why'd he make Elbaf Shanks's location? Like the guy who set off the adventure, his location is the giant's place, like the Viking spot. Like I feel like that's gotta, you know. So I mean the whole world serpent thing. I mean the I don't know if you know this. You know in Little Guardian, you know how the giants talked about like when they were gonna blow away the goldfish, they said,
Yeah,
this is the greatest attack we have. Only the great serpent soaked in blood can withstand it. They're talking about the red line. That's the great serpent soaked in blood, the world snake. It's red. It's a giant thing that loops around the world, and it's red. And if you remember it, when they in chapter 101, when they're entering the red line, there are these arches on the entrance of the red line, and they have like they have like these like fish serpent. So like Reverse Mountain, there are these arches on the way up the waterfall, and you can see a picture.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And on the arches, there's these like snake fish things. So it's like this is the entrance to the fucking world snake wall. Like it's like it's almost like they're telling it to you. So it's like so I think that the third ancient weapon is located on Elbaf because of all these reasons. To summarize, I think it is located there because I think Oda's following. You know, it's not 1-to-1. It's not perfect copy of the mythology, but I think he's pulling pretty heavily from that.
There's a discussion. You know? There's a discussion.
Yeah.
Like what? Forget what I was about to say. God.
Please.
God damn.
Tell me what was your because I want to hear your reasoning because I'm interested to hear other perspectives. I don't want to be locked in my own tunnel vision.
So wait 1 second.
Sure, bro.
Okay. So Elbaf was like the location I was leaning towards myself. Nowhere near as in depth and elaborate as what you just told me was. So who did I tell this to? I think I was telling Kev about it. I was saying that if you notice, whenever Oda gives us a location of either a road poneglyph or an ancient weapon, the biggest connector is usually okay. Do they or do they not have ties to the world government?
Mm-hmm.
And in most cases, they don't. The only ones that have been Fishman Island and Alabasta.
Yeah.
But we know, but it's implied at some point, no, they're not really cool with the world government, or the world government looks at them a little different than they do other countries. Like Alabasta, we know the stuff about Nefertari Lily, how she betrayed them, and how for whatever reason they never went with the other 19 families to become celestial dragons. So we know even though they're technically affiliated with the world government, they're not like buddy with them.
No.
To like the other 19. And so what was special about Alabasta? Robin discovered the location of Pluton there with one of the poneglyphs. Then we go to Skypiea, who is in no way affiliated with the world government. If anything, they told us that they allied with the ancient kingdom. At least it's strongly implied they allied with the ancient kingdom and defended themselves from the world government at some point.
Yeah.
Robin went up there and found out the location of Poseidon. So now what happens? She goes to Fishman Island, who is technically affiliated with the world government, but only fairly recently. Yeah. And even then, they don't get the same treatment because of they're fishmen. Robin went there and discovered the apology from Joy Boy, but we knew through the Odin flashback at some point a road poneglyph was there. Fast forward to Zoe. Now, okay, there's a random road poneglyph at Zoe. Big Mom, we don't know how she got it, but another location that's not tied to the world government still. Another road poneglyph. Fast forward to Wano, road poneglyph, not tied to the world government. If anything, all but said they were allies of the ancient kingdom. So here's where I'm going with this. If not Wano, if we don't get the location of the third ancient weapon at Elbaf, which right now I'm leaning towards it being at Elbaf, if we don't get the location, if we aren't told it's at Elbaf,
Yeah.
I believe at the very least we're gonna find the Poneglyph that tells us where it is or who has it.
Yeah. That makes
and,
sense.
Yeah, and the reason I believe that is because again, everything I said about how it's all these kingdoms that the common theme is in some way they're either not allies with the world government or if they are allies, there's a catch to it. And another thing I was saying that like I could see Oda doing this because I've noticed he's been doing this recently is he'll give us little informations through flashbacks. So like I look back at Wano, I think about Chopper being able to use his rumble ball for like 30 minutes. And we found that out through a quick flashback that we never got in real time through Caesar. Law loses to Blackbeard, and all of a sudden Beppo can go into his Sulong form. We find out that's because of Chopper.
Yep.
A flashback that we didn't get in real time. Robin, we know her and Law were like looking for the real Poneglyph, and this was something I thought was interesting. Aside from the real Poneglyph, if I'm not mistaken, there were two other Poneglyphs that are on Wano. The one Kaido had in Onigashima that Law found, which we never really found out what was said about it, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, and then a second one, if I'm not mistaken, Brooke said was underneath the Flower Capital Castle. We never saw it, if I'm not mistaken. We never saw it, but Brooke found it, and he confirmed that it wasn't a road Poneglyph at least. So when I heard that, at least in real time, while we were still in Wano, I thought Oda would give us a scene where Robin goes to one of those Poneglyphs and reads it and discovers, oh, so this is where the final ancient weapon is. And obviously, you know how Oda likes to do Robin, where she knows something, doesn't tell it, and you know, so but she has that information. So with the way he's been doing these flashbacks, if it was at Wano, I could see Oda going that route where when it becomes relevant to the conversation, Robin can go, oh yeah, I know this. And then we're going to get a quick flashback where she goes to one of those two Poneglyphs and finds out, oh, so this is where the third one is. But if not, if those are just completely irrelevant to the story and we're never going to go back to it, assuming the third one isn't on Elbaf, at the very least, I think that the final location will be the location of the final reveal will be on Elbaf. Like Robin will come to it's Elbaf. There's no way there is, if not a rogue Poneglyph, there is no way there is not a Poneglyph on Elbaf. So if anything, I'm like, okay, if we're not gonna get a rogue Poneglyph there has to be something important there to go there that's worth it in terms of the grand scheme of things. So Robin's gonna go there and learn the location. If not at Elbaf, she's gonna at least learn the location of the third ancient weapon from going to Elbaf.
I like, you know what I like about that? Because it fits Robin to a degree, because she's the type to like get info and then just not mention it. Like
exactly.
she's done that a few times. She was like, yeah, I didn't find much information in the castle. I only found out, and then she like lists like a laundry list of like 15 things that she learned, and they're like, why didn't you tell us this? And you know, like there's a lot of things like Robin will read. She didn't really explain, you know, what she read on the Joy Boy Poneglyph in Fishman Island. She didn't talk about that to the rest of the Straw Hats. She only talked about that to King Neptune. So like, yeah, the fact that Robin is like reading all this stuff, and she's not exactly like going, hey guys, this is what it all says. She's not doing that. Yeah. So there's a chance she read something about Uranus and she doesn't know, like we don't know about it because she hasn't talked about it. Yeah. But maybe it is, maybe the location was revealed on one of those Wano Poneglyphs. We just don't know. And then that brings up another question, because if what we were saying earlier is true about the Yamato cover story, Blackbeard knows the locations of two. He pulls up to Wano and gets the location of the third. Oh. Right? So like that could be pretty bad. And then it might end up being like a race to the third ancient weapon between Luffy and Blackbeard. And then maybe the final confrontation happens at wherever the third one's located or something like that.
I didn't even think about it being revealed in the cover story.
Yeah, like what I think it could be is like it won't get told outright in the cover story, like, oh, Blackbeard finds a location of the third ancient weapon. But it could be like you see him go to Wano, or they go to Wano, and then there's like one cover story. It's Blackbeard standing in front of the Poneglyph. And like, and he has like pudding with him, and it doesn't say exactly what he's reading on there, but there's just like Oda's like, yo, Blackbeard's reading something off this, like what's going on, you know, like you know, so I could see that happening too. I like that idea. I think that makes sense too, and just from like a narrative standpoint, it would bring together like the plot lines that are kind of happening in the background right now. So I like that, and it fits Robin's character. So, you know, there's like, it's cool. I appreciate discussions like this because there's always two ways to look at it. You could have like the straight, like, story in universe perspective that you have, where it's like, okay, this is why these things, you know, this is why this would make sense because X, Y, and Z has happened in the story so far. And then you could also have like the totally like external theory where it's like, all right, I'm looking at this like fucking 2,000-year-old mythology. It was inscribed on rocks and paper and you know, this is Oda read this. I know he read this, and he's like, he's gonna.
If you didn't read this, your editor brought this to you. Your assistant brought this to you. Somebody brought this to you because this is too on point. This is too on point. Like you gotta learn something about this, man. You're not just getting all this out of thin air.
Yeah, no, I think it could go a lot of ways, but I think, you know, we're somewhat on the right track. I feel like that, you know, the story's like coming to a close. There's not many open mysteries left, like for us, you know. Especially like as a theorist, like I'm always thinking of like some new theory I can add to the story, but the further we go in, there's less and less questions to be answered now because we're getting the answers, you know, firsthand. So with the remaining pieces, you know, I think that there's not that many ways you could fit them together, and I feel like it's either one of those two. Like they're either gonna find it on Elbaf or get told about it on Elbaf. Yeah. Or if it is on Elbaf and we don't know yet, Blackbeard's going to find out by going to Wano, and maybe the information's on Wano about where it is, and then he goes to Elbaf. And, you know, I'm just going to build off this even more.
Yeah.
If that's Shanks' territory, Blackbeard wouldn't want to invade Shanks' territory. But if Shanks is not on Elbaf, and if he gets the word that Shanks is not there, because like what you said earlier, Shanks isn't going to be there. Right, it would be too easy.
Yeah.
So if Shanks is not on Elbaf, and then word gets out to Blackbeard that hey, Shanks is doing something else right now. Oh, he's out looking for me. Okay, well while he's looking for me somewhere else, I'm gonna go to his home. I'm gonna go to Elbaf, and I'm gonna do my shit there while he's gone. Right. So you know, it could be like a Blackbeard like timing, like he's all about that timing, you know, like he just pulls up at the worst possible time.
So the worst possible time for us, best for him.
Yeah. So that's that. I could see that working.
Look, here's the funny thing, right? Like we're having all these discussions about Elbaf, Egghead, Wano. Oda's gonna make us look crazy because watch it be Vera all along.
Yeah,
Vera's gonna be the important island in the story.
Yeah,
everything's all gonna connect to Vera. This island no one ever talked about.
Yeah, they're gonna go to Blue Balls Island next, and it's gonna have nothing to do. It's gonna have nothing to do with anything we talked about at all. You know, I'm ready for that too. Honestly, I to a degree, I'll welcome that. I'll welcome it because it's nice to be surprised. It's nice to be surprised.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
why I like Egghead. That's why I like Egghead.
Exactly. Who was ready for Egghead? Like no one. The island was never mentioned. We never heard about Egghead. We end Wano and we're like, oh, Wano's over. On to Elbaf. Let's go. Nope. Yeah. Egghead Island. Okay. All right. Now we're here. So I could see that. I could see that being the case. You know, like we either get one of our predictions is probably going to be right, or both of them are going to be right, or Oda just throws a classic like curveball. We get something completely different. But yeah, man. So let's wind down the stream with some other topics. I actually have some questions for you that aren't explicitly One Piece related. So I just want to get to learn a little bit about you. But before we do that, before we bookend the One Piece conversation, real quick, I just want to know, favorite character, favorite arc. Hit me.
Favorite character, Ace. I am an Ace guy. He's like one of my guys that got me into One Piece, as you can see, like from the phone.
Love that.
Look, I can laugh as an Ace fan. I'm here for all the donut jokes, so I can laugh at them. So I flip flop in between, but it's usually between Ace or Nami. That's nice. Nami's my favorite straw hat. That I know that's a hot take to some people, but you know cool. Those are my two. You said favorite arc?
Favorite arc also, yeah.
All right, favorite arc. Favorite arc. All right, even the it might hot take.
Okay.
Favorite arc, Arlong Park.
Really?
Not saying it's better than Water 7, Enies Lobby,
Wow.
Marineford. Not saying even Dressrosa. Not saying it's better, but that is my favorite arc because again, like I said, Nami is my favorite Straw Hat,
Mm-hmm.
and if it wasn't for Arlong Park, I would not be as committed as I am to One Piece right now.
I respect
because
that.
that was the arc for me. So like when I got into One Piece, the story was already at least the manga was already in Wano, and I was already well aware there was like 900 chapters plus to get into this story. And when I got to Arlong Park and I finished that was the arc that made me go, all right, if I'm getting more of this, because there's no way I'm getting 900 chapters and people love this story and we're not getting more of something like this. There's no way that there's not something better than this waiting ahead for me. So like that was the arc that locked me in, and I was like, all right, I'm here till the end.
I love that.
I'm here till the end.
That's
So
a cultured answer. That's a very cultured answer. That's like, the average person will just be like, oh, Marineford. But it's like, you're like, actually, no. We're in East Blue still. Like Arlong Park's my favorite. I love that because Arlong Park is like one of the. I agree. It's like the selling point of the story for a lot of people. It's like the arc you get to and you read it and you're like, whoa. Like this is what One Piece is actually like. I see the hype now. I'm starting to see what people love about it. And also, since you were showing your phone case, I can show mine. For all the, you can't really, it's hard. Maybe it's hard to tell on the camera. For all my Zoro fans out there, just know I'm not a hater. I'm not actually a hater. Okay, I got Zoro as my phone case. He's not my favorite character, but but I respect. They attack, but it's fine. I respect it. Zoro is a combat character. If you're gonna get into it with Zoro fans, you got to be combat ready. I get it. I understand. But all right, let me ask you. So in general, for like manga and like other manga anime, do you have any other series that like you're a big fan of or that you'd recommend to me and the audience in the chat?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I'm not even gonna say JJK because I feel like everybody's a JJK fan at this point.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
If not through the manga, at the very least through the anime. If you're into more than just strictly battle shonen, I'd highly recommend Frieren, but Beyond Journey's End. Yeah, Frieren, it is a really good one. Great message in the story, awesome characters, has its down to earth moments, and strictly like talking through the anime, like when the animation spazzes, it goes insane.
Really.
Highly recommend, a must watch for anyone who at least like wants to get a feel of like something different.
Let me ask you. So hold that thought. Yeah. Let me ask you because everyone's been recommending me Frieren, and I want to know what's the biggest in your opinion selling point of Frieren? Like if you want to recommend it to someone, what is like the thing that it's like, One Piece, it's like the world building. Everyone talks about the world building. It's amazing. Or like the character drama, it's amazing, right? But like what's Frieren's like main badge of honor if you had to give it one?
I'd say the characters. The characters, the character development. I feel like in a way it's very subtle. It's not like in your face, like something hits the character and then they're like, oh yeah, like I've had it's not like, so I'm not like downplaying One Piece. I'm just gonna like throw this out there. Like, so like remember when like Ace died in Marineford and then Luffy had that big moment of like, I'm so weak, and then he goes through that whole training with Rayleigh and now he's like, yo, I'm not losing again.
Yeah.
It's not like that where it's like so blatant. I feel like I'm discrediting One Piece by saying it's blatant. But
sure, but
like that specific scene in one moment in One Piece. But like, so without spoiling, it's kind of like a thing where like the main character, she's like an elf, and usually in those fantasy stories, elves live like a very long time. Also this character, she lives a very long time, sees people come and go. Yeah. So like it's kind of one of those stories where she kind of begins to get a better appreciation of the people around her, or has these regrets because she didn't value the time with people who she had been with for a long time. Like for example, like in the first like 5 minutes of the story, you'll learn like the character she's with, they've been together for 10 years, but to her she's like, oh yeah, that's 10 years. That's no time at all. She talks about it like it's like
it's a
been
week.
like a couple months.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's a week. She talks about 10 years like it's been a couple weeks because they look at her like, yeah,
that's
10 years.
really,
That's a lot of time.
That's interesting. I like that setup actually. Like having a character that like has to like deal with their like not their own mortality, but the mortality of everyone else around them, and like I like that a lot actually. That's cool.
Exactly. So,
yeah, go ahead.
I highly recommend it. No, I'll just say I highly recommend it. Amazing soundtrack, awesome animation, especially like when the fights get going.
Nice. So there are fights and stuff in the show.
Yeah. There are definitely fights. It's not like all like slice of life feels or nothing like that. Like when the fight action gets going, like the animation spazzes.
Cool.
Cool. It's my anime of the year because I don't think it was in the last anime of the year for Crunchyroll, but it's my anime of the year so far. Depending on what else comes out this year, it's currently like my anime of the year for 2024. I'm trying to think if there was something else that came out that I'm like missing, but I can't think of it right now. If I do, I'll shoot like send it to your DMs in that time. But for Aaron, yeah, that had me like ready week to week for the next episode.
Cool. Yeah, I've been hearing about Freerun a lot, so that's a recommendation I'm gonna take in stride because I've been looking for something new to check out. I have some old stuff I want to get to like stuff that I haven't seen that I should have seen by now. Everyone talks about it's like classics like I don't know if you've seen Code Geass, but
oh, I love Code Geass.
I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen it, so that's when everyone keeps telling me to watch that. And I'm like, bro, I have to.
You're in for a good like. I'm not even counting like the movies that came out like years after the fact. I haven't seen them myself, but like when Code Geass came out, like when it was in this like episode dropping to like time, like the prime years when it was coming out, you're in for an amazing 2 seasons.
Oh,
you're in for an amazing 2 seasons.
It's a short one, right? It's just 2 seasons. Like what is that? Like 24 episodes something?
Yeah, like 24
like
episodes for the first season, and I think another 24 for the second. And then the whole story is usually over right there. Like they had some movies that came out like years after the fact. I don't know how connected they are, how canon they are, but at the very least, those 2 seasons are like for better or worse the whole story.
Yeah, all I know, all I've heard about is my dude Lelouch. I heard that dude is a savage, and that's the reason I want to check it out because everyone keeps talking about. He's like you have you read Berserk?
Yeah.
So Lelouch is one of those characters that gets lumped into the groups like Griffith, where like where people like make the meme, they're like Griffith did nothing wrong, and it's like he's like a completely irredeemable like piece of shit, but like you have people in the community that are like Griffith did nothing wrong, he's awesome, he's based, it's all this shit, and it's like. All right, so is Lelouch because I've seen people say that about Lelouch too. They're like Lelouch did nothing wrong, so I'm like okay. When I hear X character did nothing wrong, I know that they did something probably very wrong. and if you're saying that, right, I gotta see what they did. This.
I will say this. With Griffith, when I hear that, I'm like, all right, you're either trolling or I'm looking at you like, is this your king? Is this your king? Like you're gonna like die on the hill for this guy? This guy?
Yeah.
But obviously without spoiling, like in Lelouch's case, I will say this, it's a lot more understandable.
Okay.
It's a lot more understandable. Like you might not agree with every action he takes, but it's a lot more understandable when you learn like his position and what he's up against.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. He's more sympathetic. I can get that. I'm down with that. Yeah, I see someone in the chat said Lelouch reminds me of a Death Note character. Yeah, that hypes me up. I love Death Note. So.
Yeah. Okay. So you have seen Death Note?
Oh yeah, I love Death Note. Yeah.
Okay. So obviously I won't spoil
sure.
Obviously, but like for years, even post when both these shows ended, there are a lot of debates about who's a smarter character, Light or Lelouch. Like,
really?
That's been a conversation for I don't know how long, but that's
all
something
right
for you to look forward to.
Oh, okay.
Been a conversation for a lot.
You sold me. I'm starting soon. First I got to catch up on JJK. I got like 100 chapters left, but once I've been putting that off, but I gotta.
When you catch up to JJK, because I've been peeping you on Twitter. I've been seeing like you posting up like where you're at, dude. When you catch up, we have to have a discussion.
Oh, I'll bring you back on. We'll do it again.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah. The only other person who I know, at least in terms of the One Piece YouTubers who are caught up, is Dak. At least in terms of who I've spoken to, it's just Dak. but One Piece YouTubers in general, I've never spoken to Brago, but
Mhm.
I think Brago just recently caught up.
He's
But
caught
like
up.
that's all I know. That's
Yeah,
all I know.
I've seen people. I've seen a bunch of other One Piece YouTubers like retweet stuff from like the current chapters. So I feel like I'm like one of the few that's not caught up right now. That's why I have this
Oh,
pressure. I'm like I got
Chibi girls.
Yeah,
Chibi girls.
Chibi and
Yeah,
Hime,
I
they
forgot, yeah.
yep, they're caught up. So like I wanna catch up so I can talk about it with everybody because I feel like I don't know, I'm
Dude,
gonna have some opinions when I get caught up.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. I'll say that it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I can't wait to have these
Dope.
discussions. I haven't talked to like nobody about this. I haven't talked to like nobody about this. Kev, one of these days, like I'm gonna like force you to like sit down and I see you in chat. One of these days I'm gonna force you to sit down and we're gonna like watch JJK. I can't get you on Naruto, but we're gonna like lock in and watch JJK.
Hold on. Let me ask Kev. You're in the chat right now. Let me ask you. He said the Zoro phone case a little late, so I don't know if he's behind on the stream. But let me just put this question out there, Kev. What's the deal with Naruto, man? Why? Look, I'm not the biggest Naruto fan in the world. I respect Naruto. I like Naruto. Okay, I guess it's solid. What's the deal with the Naruto thing? You got to tell me. I need to know this.
Since he's behind, if I remember correctly, I think it's because he said like it's because he knows things that happen in the story.
Okay.
So it's like pushed him away from getting into the story.
Right.
And
Okay.
everything he's told me, I'm like, all right, yeah, you know things. I won't confirm or deny these things, but yeah, you know things. But I'm like, there's so much more that you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
all right.
you should definitely at least get the context to these things.
Look, at least pre-Shippuden Naruto is goated. I'll just put this out there. Okay, I don't love Shippuden, but I like regular Naruto. One of my friends has been getting caught up on it. He never read Naruto before. He doesn't know shit about what happens. He knows like names. Like if you mention Madara, he'll be like, yeah, oh yeah, Madara. He doesn't know who the fuck Madara is yet, but he just knows the names that everyone talks about. He's getting caught up, and I've been like rereading it with him. Like I've been watching him go through the panels, and I gotta say, man, early Naruto was it was some good shit. It was good writing. I liked it. I like that stuff, man. The tuning exams are good. Everything with the Akatsuki when they're first getting introduced is good. Like,
dude, so here's the thing. I'll tell you where Kev stopped because
okay.
So he said he like watched the anime years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like with some friends, and he stopped somewhere in the tuning exams. And then like one day we were on Discord, and I just kind of like opened my stream, and I just kind of like got him to like force read some chapters, and we stopped after Naruto and Neji. We stopped there, so everything post that he knows nothing about.
Okay,
so it's like, so everything that you were saying, like he's like right in that ballpark.
Yeah, yeah,
like, man.
Yeah, Kev,
man.
we gotta get you caught up a little bit. I think you're gonna like more when the further you go in. Once Itachi becomes part of the story, that's when it's wraps. Itachi's so dope, man.
That's what I'm trying. I'm like, if you get there, you'll probably be like, all right, I at least want to see where it goes with this guy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's no one. He's one of the coolest characters I think that in the entire story. So, for me, it's like that's a top selling point. Yeah. I'm
about to say, man. Yeah, I'm about to say, like, if you ever look at like anime fashion, like, and you see black clothes with red clouds, it's like one character made that popular.
I was joking about this. I was in the agenda review. I was saying that I hope the God Knights got like Akatsuki tier drip. Like I hope that when the God Knights get introduced in One Piece, they're all like dripped out to the nines. Like they're all so fucking cool looking because like we haven't had an organization in One Piece like the Akatsuki that's like they got the same. Yeah. I guess the Marines, right? But like a group of like total badasses, like not that many, like 10 to 12, same uniform or something like that, and they're all just like crazy powerful. Just give me a One Piece Akatsuki, make them be the God Knights. I'll take it.
That's what I'm hoping. I'm like, man. Yeah. I hope give me some drippy God Knight like outfits, man. I need them. I'm done with the Marine jackets. I'm done with them. I got enough of them.
I like the Marine jackets though.
No. They're good. They're good. But it's like give me something else. Like I got it. Like Kizaru, fresh. Akainu, fresh with the white suit and with the red underneath, fresh. Aokiji, when he was rocking it, fresh. Like he got his own
now I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's doing now.
Yeah.
But he
Yeah, I
kind
know
of
what he's
lost
doing
it.
now. Fresh.
Yeah, the Marines are
Kong,
carrying him.
I don't know what Kong wear. I don't know what Kong rocking. I've only seen Kong from like the chest up.
We haven't seen. What if he got like boy shorts on like underneath? Like what if it's like, what if he doesn't have pants?
Like Goku?
Yeah,
Like
yeah. What if he's got the shorts? Like we haven't seen the lower half of Kong. It could be like shorts down there.
Oh my god.
That could ruin the whole image. The theory's dead. Like right there. He's not hard wearing that shit. He's not gonna be doing anything. If he's got shorts, that's like his whole career hinges on that. Yeah, Kong pants unconfirmed. Thank you, Rubik's. Kong pants unconfirmed.
Kong pants unconfirmed.
Oh shit.
Oh my god.
All right, bro. Well, we're gonna have to reconvene once I get caught up. AnimeNYC. I'm probably gonna be seeing you there. Are you planning? Are you planning to cosplay? You gonna be doing anything with that?
At the very least, if I do, I'm not like a hardcore cosplayer. I'll probably just wear something anime related. Like I got a like a Naruto 4th Hokage jacket like in my closet. Right. I probably wear that. If I can get a hold of an Akatsuki coat, I'll wear the Akatsuki coat.
Fire.
But for now, like that's all I got is the Naruto one. So I'll probably wear that if anything.
I'm gonna pull up in something. I don't know if you saw what I wore to Comic-Con like a year or so ago. I went as a Akainu.
I saw that.
You saw that? You saw it? Did you see that I pulled up to the venue with a box of Dunkin' Donuts?
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
oh my
God.
Oh
I went with the costume because my two friends, they're in the chat actually. The True Toby and Mr. Future Singer. I don't know if Future Singer's here, but we all went to Comic-Con together. We did the 3 admirals, and I was Akainu. Toby was Kizaru, Future Singer was Aokiji, and we did the pose. We sat in the chairs and we did the Admiral pose at Marineford, and I brought a box of Dunkin' Donuts with me, and I was handing out donuts. I was giving donuts to people there, specifically the aces. If I saw anyone cosplaying as Ace.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I said
that is diabolical.
Yeah, I was like, I would go up to them, I'd be like, yo, you want a donut? And I wouldn't say anything. I'd just be, yo, hey, what's up, man? You want a donut? And I had a couple people get actually tight at me for that. I'm trying to find a picture. There was one guy who was cosplaying Ace, and he came up and he dapped up my boys. He dapped up Kizaru and Aokiji, and then he came to me and he's like, I'm not dapping you up. You're a bitch for that. He's like, and I was like, yo. You know what? I was like, you know what? I understand. I get your feeling, man. Like, I know what you're saying. Like, you know, but it's kind of disrespectful, but it's all good. Let me see if I can find. I'm trying to find it in my phone. Hold on. I know I got it in here.
That is hilarious.
I got the donut picture in here somewhere.
Nah, that's evil.
Yeah.
What's funny is too, right? It's like I when I show somebody like my phone case with like the Ace tattoo and the fire and all that on it. Mm-hmm. So somebody told me, it was like, oh wow, it's perfect. It even has the hole right through it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Like I can't get a win.
Here, you can see.
Oh, that's crazy.
The Dunkin' Donuts.
That's crazy.
And then hold on. Where was the guy? I found one. There was one Ace. There was an Ace and a Luffy that were very happy to play along. And this guy here. He's holding the donut I gave him up to his chest. and oh shit, where was it? Yeah, there's the Luffy cosplay. The Luffy cosplayer, so, like over his body. Here's another one. Me punching him. Me punching him through the chest. Those guys are cool. They were cool.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and then this was us recreating the admirals. Yeah.
Oh, so, that's hard. Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah, so I'm definitely gonna. I'm trying to do something of that tier or that level with this next one. So maybe the next time we see each other, I don't know what I'm gonna be wearing. I got these recently. Let me put these on. You got these Doflamingo glasses. I was considering using these for
that's
sick. I don't know if I can pull off Doflamingo. I'm gonna have to get shredded or something because Doflamingo doesn't have a shirt on. So if I'm there with like a dad bod Doflamingo, like it won't work. But I get shredded between now and like the summer. I just gotta eat.
You gotta
keto diet.
You gotta master that walk when Himekuma first walking up to the Marie Joie.
That's the goal, man. I need to find Akuma and we need to recreate the walk, the walk up to marriage while like with the hands in the pockets.
Hands in the pockets and the wides.
Yeah, the wide like he got BSTL. You know that you ball stick to leg. Yeah, that's how Doflamingo walk. He's trying to unstick the balls from his leg. He's walking up to marriage. He's like, oh shit, that was a really long ride on the ship over. It's like I'm getting yeah. Oh man, that was rough. It's like a swamp. It's like a swamp down there. Yeah.
Oh shit.
All right, Edenz.
Oh my god, bro! Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, bro.
This was so much fun.
I'm glad, man. This was fun. I want to do this again. Once I get caught up on JJK, we'll have to reconvene. We'll pick up the discussion. We'll talk about One Piece, of course, too. But we'll have a JJK section segmented off, so I can talk to you about whatever characters are gonna die that I'm in love with right now. I have no clue.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because I already lost a few that I'm pretty tight about still. I still haven't let it go. So,
I feel you.
Yeah.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah.
Welcome to the club.
So once we talk again, we'll cover that. But Edenz, thank you so much for being here today, bro. I appreciate you very much. It was very fun talking to you. If before we go, if you want to plug your channel, anything that you are working on. I know that you're still you have work and everything going on like that. But if you want to just do like a plug for your channel, whatever, you can do that now, and then we'll sign off.
Okay. Yeah, channel.
Where can people find you, etc.?
Like I said, I'm about to get back into content creating. The channel that me and Hidden have been talking about was my One Piece one, Edenz Blue. I'm like I said, I'm at the start of the stream. I'm working on one talking about like anything animation, specifically like even like Western animation stuff. Toon plug Edenz. Like TOON, like tune, and then plug, like you plug in, so like all one word, and then space Edenz. And then I don't think I gotta check with Kev if we made the channel yet, but Fiction Addiction, that's gonna be the collab. I love that name so much.
That's gonna do well. I think on the name alone that'll do well. So that's like one of those channels, like you see the name, you're like, oh, this like sounds like a big channel, like Fiction Addiction. Oh, okay. Yeah. So I love that.
I'm excited for that one. That's probably like the one I'm most hyped for, because I can't wait, because we're just gonna be like just talking about whatever, and I'm gonna be pushing agendas and making like I'm gonna try and get Kev riled up, because Kev likes to be calm. I'm gonna like bring the
you have to break through the shell. get him riled up. That'll be fun. Yeah. What about Twitter? What's your Twitter? What's your @ so people can follow you there?
Yeah. Twitter. 1 second. It's gonna be the same as like my original One Piece channel.
Yep. And the link should be in the description too, if anyone needs that. But
okay,
feel free to drop.
Twitter is Edenz Blue, same thing. All one word, capital B for blue, and capital E for Edenz, obviously.
Word.
And yeah, all one word. And I try not to give my opinions too much on Twitter. Like, I'll like a post, I'll retweet something, because Twitter is a place where it's like, Jesus Christ,
it's dangerous.
One thing, dog. Twitter, you say I like pancakes, somebody's on there saying, why do you hate waffles?
Bro, like, I used to hate Twitter. I didn't use Twitter until I got a YouTube, and now I'm starting to discover the dangers of it, because I didn't know what Twitter was like until I went on there and I had my own account. And I find myself tweeting some dumb shit now and then too. But it's like, it's just part of like it's like a contagious like illness on that website. Like, you just can't like be on there for long periods of time without getting either saying something stupid or getting roasted for it. But it's whatever. But definitely everyone, you should go check him out on Twitter. Check out Edenz on Twitter. Follow him there. Please go check out his channel. Subscribe to his channel. Keep an eye out for his next channel. And one more time, what was the name of the one that you were working on, the Toon channel? It was
Toon Plug Edenz.
Toon Plug Edenz. Check out Toon Plug Edenz when that's up. Keep an eye out for that. And Fiction Addiction. Remember that name, because it's probably going to be big in the near future, so keep an eye out for that as well, and sub to that whenever that's up. So thank you guys for being here in the stream. Thank you here, for supporting us here and being a part of the discussion. I appreciated all the member chats, all the chats in general, all the questions. Edenz, thank you once again for being here, man. This was a lot of fun. And guys, we will catch you next time. I'll be seeing you guys on tomorrow's stream. We're probably going to be streaming some Super Smash Bros. Melee gameplay there. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Everyone, peace out, and have a good rest of your week. Take care.
Have a good one.